Today, we're going to be playing a session of the Contract RPG, which is a game you can find at www.thecontractrpg.com. It's a game about ambitious people who go on deadly missions to earn fantastic powers. Those clever enough to survive are forged into the most formidable beings on Earth. Each session of the contract is a self-contained mission called a contract. Anyone who shows up to the session can play one of their contractors. If they survive and claim victory, they earn a gift, a supernatural item, or power. A different person can act as game master each time you play, and today I'm going to be the game master. This video is one contract, played live from start to finish. We have 3 players, each of whom has played in about a dozen contracts and run a handful of their own. But while the players are experienced, they'll be bringing some of their newer contractors. One contractor is brand new, so she'll get a special solo introduction to sign the titular contract. I'll be running the scenario Bobasaurus. You can find the full write-up on the website, but none of these players know anything about it. Will they win, lose, die? I guess we'll see. This isn't a how-to-play video. It should be easy to follow, but check out the website or one of the introduction videos if you just want to learn the rules. Finally, I'd like to thank the players who volunteered to be in this video, and who frankly organized the whole thing. If you want to play, check out the website and join our Discord server. We run no-commitment, newbie-friendly games multiple times per week. Now, let's play Bobasaurus. We're going to start with Kate Winsdale. Now, I have a couple of questions for you, Kate, because you're a brand new contractor. You've never been on a contract before, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I read your character sheet, and I'm curious if you have any idea, like, what company she works at?
I kind of imagined it just to be a generically named one.
Global Assets Limited.
Something like that. Something with a really generic name that's just like you look at it and then you just look away from it because it's so business speak generic, which is exactly what the people who run it want.
I'm going to call it Global Solutions Ltd, if that's cool with you.
Sounds good. That's part of her backstory now.
Wonderful. Kate Winsdale, tell me a little bit about her life. She's 18 years old. She's living in the Big Apple, Manhattan.
hmm
What's her day-to-day like these days?
Right now, her day to day is she's working as an intern for Global Solutions Limited. She gets up, she exercises some, she goes for like a jog, heads into work.
Great. So you had to sign a big non-disclosure agreement to work at your company. Of course, pretty par for the course stuff. However, it doesn't feel quite right. In the center of your company's building is a mailroom, and it appears to be sort of unusual. You've noticed, because Kate is a very perceptive individual, you've noticed that more mail passes through this mailroom than really should for the size of the office. Let's pick up where your biography leaves off.
Okay.
You see an unguarded envelope that has fallen out of an inbox next to the mailroom. Like it should have gone through a slit and it didn't quite make it, and now it ended up on the ground, unaccounted for.
Okay. She is going to look back and forth and make sure no one is looking at her, and then she is going to go and pick it up.
Yep, you wait for the opportune moment, and you pick up the letter. It's not the sort of normal business correspondence that you would expect. I mean, it's not in a mass printed envelope with machined lettering on it. This one actually has a handwritten address on the top, and it is addressed to you, strangely enough.
Okay. Kate's eyebrows are going to go straight up, and she's going to look around again, like if someone's playing a joke on her,
Nope, you can't
before
see.
turning it over a few times.
No, it
And I mean,
appears to be a normal envelope that is addressed to you, handwritten.
it is addressed to her, so she will open it.
Yep, it says, "Meet me on the 37th floor in Meeting room Sequoia. And then there it is signed with a big cursive T.
And she's going to panic a little bit. Oh God, what did I mess up? I'm going to get fired. This was a great job. And then she's going to hesitate a little bit and like wonder if that's a good idea. And then she's going to head up to room 37.
Up the
Oh, sorry,
elevator.
floor 37.
Yep, yes. You go up the elevator, far higher floor than you've been used to in the past. And on this floor, there are no cubicles and water coolers. This is a floor with executive offices and gorgeous views, administrative areas that are all like open floor plan. The kind of place you'd bring an investor or like another executive for another company.
Okay.
In a way, it seems like a museum that's set up to be shown off only when it needed, once every couple of months for a big meeting.
Yep.
And so even though your badge gave you access to this area, it feels kind of weird to be here.
She will wander her way to the sequoia, looking around a bunch as she does.
Mm-hmm.
Like instinctually, she's looking for patterns here
Yeah.
because it's when the patterns break that things become interesting. And she does notice that it looks like this is just kind of a set. But she makes her way to the sequoia and she knocks with a timid knock.
Yep. Outside the Sequoia room, there's a cookie jar with some cookies in it. And you hear a voice from the other side that says, "Come in."
Okay, she is going to open the door and enter.
The man you see in the room is sitting laid back in a executive office chair. It's all mahogany and leather in here and big floor to ceiling glass walls that overlook Manhattan views and Central Park. The man himself is dressed very strangely for the world of New York City business. He's actually giving you more of like sleazy Hollywood producer vibes. He has a pair of aviator sunglasses that are like sunset colored. One of those 70s style button down shirts with a really big collar, and a Rolex watch, a braided leather belt. And he says, "Ah, Kate, I have been waiting here forever. I'm glad you could make it."
Yes, sir. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, sir.
No, it's no problem at all. Fate's a finicky thing. You can't always guarantee you're going to get in contact with somebody right when you wanted to. Please take a seat.
Yes, sir. She's going to hesitate a moment before taking a seat across from him.
This is a pretty crazy office. I haven't been in a place like this in a while. You guys really live large here in Global Solutions Limited.
You're not with the company, sir?
Oh no, I actually run a different company. I'm a partner at an agency, sort of a talent agency. Think of us like Uber for badasses. We have high-end clients that come to us with different problems, different situations that they'd like to be seen resolved in a particular way. And, well, we send contractors out there to make sure that that happens. The reason I invited you up to this office is because I think you have what it takes to be one of those contractors.
Kate's eyebrows are going to go way up and be like, me? There's going to be a long pause.
Well, I admit it's not the obvious choice, right? I think lesser people who are looking for that kind of person might go to ex special forces, they might go to those mercenary type people. But me, I have a knack for figuring out who would be a good fit. And you, Kate, you are driven, you are talented. And when the chips are down and the stakes have never been higher, it's that drive that's going to pull you through. You've got a lot to offer.
Kate's going to glow just a little under the praise, like she can't help herself, and then nod. And then she's going to ask, well, what do you need done? And can I see a contract?
Certainly, certainly. He opens up the drawer and pulls out a ancient piece of parchment. Actually, it's not parchment. Let's say it's like vellum, like an ancient British law that they keep locked up in Scotland Yard, you know? And he pulls it out, and it's got this beautiful handwriting on it, like the Declaration of Independence. And he says, "Well, here's the actual one. We do a digital thing these days, but I can't figure it out. It's all beyond me." There's some things you should know before we dive right into this, though. These jobs aren't safe. In fact, they're very dangerous, and there is a chance that it won't work out the way that you want. However, the payment is equally as great. I'm not offering you a paycheck here. I'm offering you an opportunity. As driven and talented as you are, Kate, you have no hope of changing the world, if we're just going to be blunt about it. You're not a billionaire. You're not a superhero or a wizard or something or an alien from outer space. You're not going to have a massive impact if you keep your current trajectory.
It's going to look out the large view and be like, I'm never going to stand on this floor.
No, probably not, unless you join the admin team. They seemed nice. But you have an opportunity with me to achieve your potential. If you're willing to take the risk, I can promise you, you will be given certain abilities. Certain abilities will be unlocked. Your potential that I've been talking about. The man turns and gazes out the window. He snaps his fingers, and in an instant, the Manhattan vista is replaced with a bustling Middle Eastern market. The glass itself seems to have been removed as well, and now this office room that you are in is filling with the scent of exotic spices and incense. Men and women going through the market on their day-to-day seem to notice the strange sight, as if you replaced a stall that they were hoping to shop at. He snaps his fingers again, and you are on a beach, somewhere serene with crystal blue water. One more snap, and you're back in Manhattan.
Where do I sign?
Right here. And he pushes the contract on its big vellum sheet towards you. And he has the fountain pen and says, "Now, this is a contract gig. We're not asking you to go full time here. Opportunities should come up about once a month, and you can accept or reject them as you'd like. Just know that once you sign this contract, you're going to be changed a little bit, imbued. You'll find that after a contract, you learn and advance very quickly. However, if you don't work, but you don't retire, your advancement will stagnate. You're free to quit anytime, but once you quit, you're out." And he pushes the pen over to you.
She's going to take the pen. She's just going to... Can she read the paperwork? What exactly does the paperwork say?
Almost exactly what he said. The language is actually very modern. It sounds like a contract that could be written today. If you'd like, you can make an intellect plus culture roll to try and look for any sneaky wording or traps or anything like that. Because this is a introductory game, I'm also going to give a little context on the rules. So when you roll, I will explain that. So you've rolled 6 dice, 3 dice for your intellect, and 3 dice for your culture. So that's how many dice you roll. And then the result was 10, 9, 7, 6, 6, 3. Anything 6 or higher counts as a success and increases the outcome by 1. And this 10 here will increase the outcome by 2. So your total outcome is 6, which in this game is an exceptional success. So you look over this contract, focused by the strange and arcane nature of this meeting and the bizarre powers that this man has shown off. And you find, surprisingly, an equitable and reasonable contract that basically follows what he says. It's all opt in. You're never going to be obligated to do anything. However, according to this contract, it'll affect your ability to learn outside of these contracts. Your advancement as a person is tied to this imbuing process, apparently.
So will stunt her growth as if she long as she is signed onto it, as long as
Unless,
she doesn't do contracts.
yep, but you're free to break the contract at any time and cancel out and leave. But once you do that, you can never rejoin. When you're in, you're in. When you're out, you're out. So,
She'll sign it.
great. Yes, as you push the pen to the paper, you feel a prick on your finger and a little droplet of blood, as if drawn down by some mechanism or magic, fills the reservoir of this fountain pen, and you are able to scrawl your name in a mixture of ink and blood. Little wobbly because you weren't expecting the pinprick. But the name is there, and the man across the table holds out his hand and says, "Welcome aboard, Kate."
Kate will take the hand.
As you do, you feel a wave of dizziness hit you and the world spins. You feel your awareness expanding to encompass the office building's floor, the whole up and down skyscraper with all the different companies working inside of it, the streets and subways, and all the rats in this big city of New York, then the state, the country, the world. You are a droplet of water that's been dropped into the ocean of the universe. At once you feel a oneness with the fabric of space and time, and you see all paths before you as a multitude of doors, as though you could choose which one to open, which universe to enter. And then, as quickly as it came, it all goes away, and you see this man sitting in front of you, and this awareness and knowledge that you had slips out of your mind like a dream when you wake up.
Is that the end game? Is that what it's like for you?
To a degree. They call me the talent. I've got a special knack for picking out people with potential. And when I get the opportunity to sign someone on, I like to take a little peek and see what's in store. I just can't help myself. Now, here's my business card. And he slides a business card across the table to you.
Okay.
It says the talent. It has no contact information other than that. And he also hands you a black Nokia brick phone.
Okay.
He says, "This phone is how I'll get in contact with you when there's work to be done. Don't lose it."
Yes, sir.
It has no
She's obviously
reception.
still recovering from seeing everything and knowing that that's what what she will have.
Yeah, suddenly this room feels small and quiet and dirty and dingy. Before it seemed like the pinnacle of ambition, but right now it seems like a pathetic display, almost theater. It's not real power that people have here. He says, "All right, your first job's tomorrow. Got you some plane tickets because I had a feeling you would be signing that contract. I need you to meet with a guy named Ralph Turlock at the top of Coit Tower in San Francisco at 5 p.m. tomorrow night."
Okay, I can be there.
Awesome. Kate, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. She'll extend her hand again.
He'll shake it, and this time nothing weird happens. And he says, "Oh, and you'll be working with a couple of other people. Hopefully you get along."
Sure I will.
"All right, well, payment will come if you're successful."
Yes, sir. And she's going to take that as a dismissal, and she is going to stand and leave. And she's going to head back down to her little cubicle and just sit down and stare at that phone she was given.
Yes. As you reached out to shake his hand initially, you felt this sensation of almost being at the top of a roller coaster, about to fall down through a loop-de-loop this sort of heart rate pounding, a little bit of sweat, and now you feel the same way, like you just did a skydive, and or you were in the Matrix and you just met Morpheus or something, and the rest of your day goes by almost in a sort of distant haze. Would you like to prepare in any way?
Well, she was told it would be dangerous, so she might go out and try and buy a few things, but
Well, go ahead and update your equipment list, and we'll move
okay,
on to the other introductions.
sounds good.
So, this introduction for Kate was a little longer because she's a brand new contractor, but all of the other characters will have much shorter introductions because they've already sort of signed the contract. So, let's go to Sister Isabel.
Hello,
All right, Isabel. So, you've already played in a contract.
I have.
You might not have met the talent, though. You might have had a different harbinger for your first invitation.
I would not have met the talent. I would have just received a invite from a very scrungy looking big game hunter guy who looks like he'd be hunting elephants, illegally.
Awesome.
That sort of vibe.
Love it. So, you're in prison, aren't you?
I do not believe.
Oh, no, you're not in prison. I'm sorry. That was a different character I was thinking of. No. All right, Isabel, tell me a little bit about your life. How does Isabel live?
Isabel lives at the Dominican Sisterhood of Ohio, and she lives in a dorm, and she works at the sisterhood. The sisterhood has a daycare that manages, the children of, very Christian parents who might drop their children off for the day when they go to work. These are, 4 or 5-year-olds that she's managing, and she really enjoys that part of the job. And she's just getting back from taking care of these kids. The last parent just picked their kid up, and she's scowling. She's really not happy. She forgot to do her chores this morning. She's always forgetting. She got chewed out by Sister Agrias, the eldest sister, again for it, and she's tired and she doesn't want to do anything else. And she's just walking back to her dorm now.
Yes, and especially after the experience of last month and the new gift that you found under your control, you feel like, why are you not the head nun? Hell, why are you backing and working for this whole organization in general?
That is exactly what Isabel is feeling.
Yes.
And her shoulder hurts. She was slashed by this monster, this badger that's oversized and still recovering, and she had so much trouble trying to not, wince in pain while she did her chores around the convent, because God knows if she had to explain the hospital visit, she would have gotten hell.
No, this is not the life for you. And you can only wait until you get another opportunity to prove your worthiness and rise above this organization that you're currently a part of. And wouldn't you know it, not 10 seconds after sending the last kid away, you see a slip of paper slide under the doorway from outside.
Sister Isabel's going to snap her head over and then snap her head back and start looking around to see if any of the other sisters are milling around, but I don't think she sees anyone. All the elder sisters, the aging population of nuns is kind of extreme. Her other 2 youngest sisters are away at college right now, so it really feels like all these duties get pushed onto her because they're too tired and old.
Oh, absolutely.
She's going to go over. She's going to get her fingers under it and slide it out from under the door. She's going to put the madre more work for tonight.
And as you pick up this paper, you feel that same sensation that you felt when the big game hunter gave you your first job. It's that beating of your heart and the sweat on your palms. And you get this feeling that this is an otherworldly sort of opportunity, like the one that you saw last month, a calling.
She is going to strut off towards their dorm. She's still wearing her habit. It's a thing that they might be expected to wear the habit when they're doing their duties. And she's going to, Cluck, clack, unlock that door. She takes her keys out of her little purse and opens it up and shuts it behind her. She, takes a letter knife off the table, slits it open, and opens this contract, this red envelope of any contents, and takes what's inside out.
Yep, there is just a small note along with a couple of plane tickets. It says, meet with Ralph Turlock at the top of Coit Tower in San Francisco, California at 5 p.m. tomorrow evening. And there's plane tickets to get you there.
Isabel look at these plane tickets and say, one more job for tonight. And she will peek out into the hallway and see one of the other sisters, not the eldest, not Agrias. She wouldn't be caught dead trying to get permission to go out from Agrias. She just says to one of them, she says, I'll be going out into town tonight. Please let Agrias know, and I will be back before tomorrow. I'll do my chores this time.
She won't be happy to hear that, Isabel.
Well, Isabel grabs her pack and is briskly walking past her anyways, towards the bus stop, despite her sister's protests.
Yep. You can feel her eyes boring into the back of your habit. You are a free spirit. You aren't to be constrained by this life for very long. And off you go. Would you like to do any other preparations?
No, she's grabbed her pack, She might have gotten a change of clothes in any other circumstance, but the credence that the cloth gives her, she feels that's a good thing to have when she doesn't know where she's going.
True fact. True fact. So, we will move on to Joe, our last contractor for today.
Joe Von Barish, he's a fit, attractive surfer bro who had denounced his family and the soulless upper crust ways of the Western civilization a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And he embarked on a soul-searching journey that started as a surfer bum on the Pacific coast and has recently taken him backpacking internationally.
Amazing.
Indeed.
And on this journey of his future, Joe has been granted the opportunity to go on some very special jobs, hasn't he?
Several. At this point, 4, I believe.
Okay, awesome. So that's about as big of contract gap as, we'd like to keep between the lowest and the highest. So that works for us. You have met the talent before, right? The person that Kate met?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so you have a black Nokia brick phone.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, you will get a text that says, hey, you want a job? And then a winky face.
So it takes him a little bit to pull out of meditating on top of a floating surfboard, on top of a historic hotel in Kathmandu, Nepal.
Fuck yeah. 4 victories in, you're already meditating on top of a surfboard in Nepal.
So it takes him a bit to register something is happening in his external environment outside of his breath and his essence and the sunshine on his skin. But eventually, several minutes in, he decides to check that phone in his pack nearby, which he always keeps nearby now that he can make it follow him easily by floating. And he'll pull it out and text, yeah, man.
Sweet. And then they do the hang loose shaka emoji. And you get another text that says, you gotta meet this guy, Ralph Turlock, at the top of Coit Tower in San Fran at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Here are some plane tickets. And
so he'll text back righteous bro, legit, be there.
Awesome.
Peace.
And yeah, he texts you a URL, which you're going to have to enter manually on your smartphone to claim the tickets because, it's a little Nokia.
He will go down to the hotel where his cabal of friends are that he's been backpacking internationally with, borrow one of their smartphones and claim those tickets.
Awesome. Is he not particularly well off?
Oh yes, I should do his poverty roll.
Oh yes. How many dollars do you have in your pocket?
10? Wait, yeah.
So you have about 1,300 Nepalese rupees in your pocket.
Damn. He's gonna pick up some food on the way out because money goes farther here and he's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And then travel immediately to San Fran.
Sure. Do you do any preparations beyond that?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually do some busking.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, does he have the time actually? Now I'm thinking about it. He's gotta hustle around across
You will have time to do a bit of busking in San Francisco before the meeting if you want. You'll have, let's say, an hour.
All right, yeah. So he will arrive, and then I will make a charisma performance roll. He has a flute on him. He's
Wonderful.
very hot, and dressed currently as an international backpacker might be dressed, along with an awkwardly long surfboard. So let me roll that.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a charisma plus performance roll at -2 difficulty because you are beautiful. There you go. Yeah, I will say in the 1 hour you're busking, you made $180.
Sweet.
You happened to have really. Wait, what are you doing to busk again? Playing an
He's
instrument?
he's playing the flute. He just set up his little like surfboard as background, and then is just playing the flute on the side, like on the street, on the curb.
Yes, the sight of you playing the flute, you happen to be playing a very nostalgic song for one of the well-to-do tech workers walking around San Francisco, and they give you a big fat $100 tip, and that really helps out.
Sweet man. And then he will let's see, hop on his surfboard and just float up to the top of that building where he's supposed to meet the dude.
Oh my god. All right. So, for those of you who haven't been, Coit Tower is a monument tower on top of a little hill in San Francisco that has an excellent 360-degree view of the city. Telegraph Hill, where it stands, has a spiral driveway that goes up it, and there's a little circular parking lot at the top. Today, there are no tourists at Coit Tower. And we're actually going to start with Kate. So, Kate, how do you get from the airport to the Coit Tower? Are you going to rent a car, get an Uber?
Probably an Uber.
All right.
She's also going to ask if the Uber driver can make a stop first, and she wants to buy a bulletproof vest because he did say it was dangerous.
Yes. Yeah, you have
Apparently, you
opportunity
can't
to...
buy those in New York.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
It is illegal to buy in New York,
Can
which
you
is where
buy
she's
them in
from.
San Francisco?
Apparently, you can, according to Google.
Okay, excellent. So, yes, I will say you can stop by a Dick's Sporting Goods or a Bass Pro Shop, or I don't know where they sell them, a gun show that happens to be going on in Daly City, and you can grab a bulletproof vest. Army Supply Store, exactly.
Something like that, probably.
So your Uber takes you up into San Francisco, and you go up this spiral driveway to the top of Coit Towers Hill, and there are a pair of police officers near a cop car at the entryway to the parking lot. They inform your Uber driver, they knock on the window and they roll it down, and one of the cops says, sorry, there's no parking here today. And the Uber driver says, just dropping off, and lets you out.
Okay, she will get out, and she will thank him. She doesn't need to pay him because it's an Uber, and she'll just go to walk up the tower.
Mm-hmm. One of the police officers says, sorry, ma'am, the tower is closed to tourists today.
Oh, I have an appointment at the tower.
Oh, what is your name?
Kate Winsdale.
Ah, excellent. Yes, please go right ahead.
Thank you. She's going to head up.
Kate, with your keen eyes, you spot in the parking lot a single car that is parked. It's a Pagani Huayra, a very, very gorgeous sports car. So,
Probably owned by a benefactor.
And yes, you go into the tower. There is a very professional looking young woman who reminds you a lot of yourself, actually, but she is much more like you would recognize as a young professional, like an executive assistant, administrator type of person. She's all about, just from being in that world, that this type of person is very sociable and relatively unassuming, but is a very skilled operator and capable of pulling groups of people together and scheduling meetings, juggling lots of balls. And she has a tablet, and she says, "Hello, you must be Kate. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
My name's Sophia. Mr. Turlock is waiting for you upstairs. We're just waiting for one more person to arrive, I believe, before we send you up the elevator."
Okay.
So now let's move on to Sister Isabel. How do you get from the airport to Coit Tower?
Sister Isabel is going to take the airport provided transportation as far towards that tower as she can, and then she'll resort to an Uber. She doesn't, enjoy spending money, fruitlessly, and it does feel a little bit shameless to be spending so much money on transportation. But she does what's necessary, and this is necessary for her mission, and she will pull out her dinky old iPhone, like iPhone 6, and will request an Uber.
Great. So you can easily request an Uber to Coit Tower. Similar to Kate, when you arrive, the police inform your Uber driver that no one is allowed to go into the tower today, no tourists. However, the Uber driver will drop you off, and you are stopped at the entryway if you make your way towards it, and they ask if you're expected or who you are.
Isabel approaches these officers with her hands together onto her sleeves and says, "Hello, officer. I understand there is no visitors at this time, but I do have an appointment." And from between the folds of her robes, she separates her hands and reaches beneath a smock and pulls out the red letter.
The police officer takes a look at it and waves you on and says, "Well, welcome, Isabel."
"Thank you, officer. May God be with you." And she passes him by with a bow of her head.
Yeah, he gives a respectful nod, and you come across Sophia and Kate. Now, Kate, would you care to give me a description of your character?
Sure. She is a young, professional office-looking worker. She currently has a somewhat frumpy-looking coat on, but other than that, she looks like she's still in a business casual outfit. She has a backpack sitting on a chair beside her, and she looks over and waves,
All right.
smiling.
Isabel, what about you?
Isabel smiles back, and she is in her full habit and has her hands together once again and says, "Greetings and blessings. I am Isabel." She steps forwards, her legs making long strides and movements in the fabric below, and she glides towards Kate.
Kate looks just a tiny bit nervous. I don't think she's ever actually seen a nun before like this. In person.
Well, you're in Manhattan.
Is there...
There's probably nuns. There's a lot of Catholics in Manhattan.
Okay.
She's wearing a kind smile, and she has, tannish, brownish skin. And she looks very friendly.
Okay. Kate is going to extend a hand.
Isabel will take the hand and say, "Blessings, child."
Blessings to you too.
Now shall we proceed up this tower? We have an appointment,
yes,
I think.
Sophia will say, "I think that our other person is going to be meeting us at the top, so let's take this elevator." And she gestures you into the elevator, and she says, "All right, now, Mr. Turlock, he doesn't like to mince words, and he doesn't like to waste time, so please try and be as direct and concise as you can when you speak with him. And I hope you guys have a great day."
Thank you. You too.
Gracias, hija.
And
I will do just that.
Excellent. So the elevator doors close and the elevator begins to go up. So Joe, you are poor. You land in the San Francisco airport with a pocket full of nearly worthless Nepalese rupees and a full stomach. Oh, and you busk. You busk for an hour in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Moves a man to tears.
You moved a man to tears, even though you aren't an expert at the flute. It was just something about the scene, you know? It was very nostalgic. And so now you are, let's say, so you have money, you're at the airport, you can Uber, you could rent a car. How are you going to get? Well, you can't rent a car probably because you don't have any credit cards or money. So you could take a taxi.
Joe's just going to hop on that surfboard and float across the town.
Okay. I mean, it's going to draw a lot of attention if you do it straight down the main street, you know?
Yeah, he might be a little more subtle than that. So,
you know, it is San Francisco, and you never know what kind of crazy tech startup is going to be testing things out. You know, this is the area where you would see those little delivery robots. Those are all over the place, have been for a decade. You know, people on hoverboards and scooters and all sorts of strange forward-facing modes of transit. And so a floating surfboard, while pretty much unheard of, I mean, if you're going to do it anywhere in the world, this is a pretty good place.
he won't be very high off the ground either, just long enough to not scrape that poor fin. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be wheels hidden under it, so nobody could really see them.
Should we see if he falls off along the way?
I mean, yeah, go ahead and give me, let's see. I mean, you probably don't need to give me a roll just to like move from place to place. But
Okay.
if you want to make a specific attempt to sort of blend in and not be like too noticeable and dramatic, you could give me a, let's say, charisma plus stealth roll.
No, he's not going to give a damn actually, so we'll just not roll it.
Great. So you are going to go down the street. People will take pictures of you and point and like, you know, kids will tug on their mom's pant leg and point at you, and people will take little videos of you and crazy area, right? All these tech startups. But for the most part, if you keep it low to the ground, it's not like obviously miraculous. You can make it all the way up to San Francisco to Telegraph Hill, where the tower is waiting for you. And I understand you want to fly up to the top.
Yep.
So you have the enhancement that lets you float up. So yes, you float up to the top of the tower.
It wouldn't be like an elevator. It would be like soaring in like a spiral around this thing.
Awesome.
Or the flavor of the surfboard.
Excellent. You Silver Surfer your way up to the top, and you find up there a man standing at the top, gazing out over the city. And as you come in for a landing, the elevator doors open up. And why don't you give me a description of what Joe looks like right now?
As he hops off the long floating surfboard, this is a man who is very tan, originally white, but very, very tan, like a burnt saltine cracker. He's very muscular. He's got shaggy hair, a weak, scraggly beard, a full body ocean tattoo. Doesn't go on his face, but everywhere else. It looks like sunlight coming through, like the ripples of the surface of the water on his bare arms. And he's wearing backpacking gear, like a very large, heavy backpack with like a rolled up sleeping bag, like full on, like this guy might have been out in the wilderness for who knows how long. And he smells of dirt and sweat, but he's got this big, genuine grin. Like he's just thrilled to see you and to be there.
The other man who is standing at the top, sort of gazing out over the city and is now looking over at Joe and the people who are stepping off the elevator, is a very well put together man who, if you're familiar with this world like Kate is, immediately can peg as like an executive at a West Coast type of tech company. He is wearing a Patagonia puffy vest with a logo that says Prometheus Ventures on it. And he is wearing slacks and a button-down shirt. Other than that, It's got $300 haircut and who knows how many extraordinarily subtle and well-executed plastic surgeries that keep him looking like a man in maybe his late 30s. And he turns to your group and says, "Great, we're all here. Time to get to work. My name's Ralph Turlock. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you too.
Amen.
Blessings.
Before we get started, could you please do me a favor and sign this non-disclosure agreement? Just ensures that you don't talk about any of the details of this employment opportunity outside of the scope of this job.
I would be willing.
Can Kate read over it quickly?
Yeah, give me an intellect plus culture roll if you'd like to read this NDA.
Joe's also going to do that. So intellect culture. Okay.
Nice. Wow, he's good at reading contracts. Look at that.
Isabel has faith that God would not lead her to a devil mist leading her astray, and she will just sign it.
Excellent. Kate and Joe, Joe takes a little time to read over it, but you both convince yourselves it's a pretty standard non-disclosure agreement, although the penalties for breaking it are rather high. It shouldn't be an issue as long as you don't live stream this job or go and write a Medium article afterwards about it or something like that.
Okay, that's fine. She'll sign it.
Great.
He signs.
So once everybody has signed, Ralph will look at the group and say, "All right, so here's the deal. We have detected an intermittent surge of delta radiation nearby." And it takes a second to kind of look at you all. None of you are very scientific, but
Nope.
Joe actually might have heard of this. And Isabel, you're very occult oriented, so maybe you've heard a whisper of it.
Sure.
He says, it indicates some sort of supernatural entity is in the area, and our long-range scanners have picked it up. We want you to find it, acquire it, and return it to this briefing point unharmed.
And where might we find the source of this radiation that leads you to believe that?
He looks out over the city and points to the right street in this photo and says, "That's Lumbar Street. Down there, just over that hilltop, we have found at least one building which contains the delta radiation. I have coordinates for you." And he'll pass out a little index card with coordinates written on them.
Okay.
The precision of our instruments should narrow it down to one building, but other than that, we're not really sure where it is within that area.
Okay. Kate's going to punch the coordinates into her phone.
Yeah, it's just an area that's just over the hill, like he said, just past the famous Lumbar Street Hill. And he says, "Delta radiation, for those of you who aren't as familiar, will know it's a particular type of radiation that's associated with telepathic activity. And when present, it forms a linear connection between 2 points in space, usually a distinguishable source and destination. Think of it like an invisible string that connects two people when telepathic abilities are in play."
Do you have equipment you're able to give us that's capable of detecting it?
"Actually, I do." And he turns to a case, which looks like the kind of case, like a rugged, high-end case for
Pelican
audio.
cases?
Yes, for audio or weapons or something like that. And he opens it up, and inside there are several plastic children's toys, and he takes them out and hands them to you. They're Detecto-Magics. They look really cheap and shitty. And he says, "These are children's toys that supposedly, detect magic with they flash and beep and whistle. These particular ones have been retrofitted by our Skunkworks technology department with delta radiation detectors. When the device is positioned in a delta ray connection, the compass will point towards the source. North is the stronger side. South is the receiver. And when delta radiation is happening nearby, it will buzz and light up, and the compass on the front will spin around. Now, we need these back. So if you keep them, the job will be considered a failure and we will have to send somebody to collect it with interest. But if you bring it back and you have adequately completed the job, we may be able to work with your employer to give you one as payment. Or you can take whatever other payment.
Of course.
It's very generous of you, sir.
What if the source of the Delta radiation doesn't want to come with us?
You have to understand, Kate, was it?
Yes.
The opportunity here is massive, okay? This could be the first step to a true, reliable lie detector that might revolutionize criminal justice or potentially a new industry that we might be able to make out of this thing. And all that is to say that I don't give a damn if the source doesn't want to come, and hopefully you're being paid adequately to coerce you that you don't give a damn if they don't want to come either.
Kate swallows a little bit and just nods.
Now, when you guys return with the source, whatever it is, we have a secret garage here, and he points to a particular patch of ivy on the side of the road that spirals up to the top of the hill. And he says, this is a secret garage. When you enter it, it will close behind you. We have some measures in place to prevent people from following you up the road. So in case you are being pursued, we should be able to help you there. Now, don't take too long, because we detected this delta radiation. We're not the only ones who can. That means someone else did too. There are other people looking for this thing, whatever it is. Could be government, could be other companies, who knows? I doubt it'll still be around tomorrow. I'm amazed it's still around today, frankly. Don't take your time.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you guys have any other questions?
Nah,
No,
man.
sir.
Pretty clear, dude.
No, sir.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you when you return. And with that, he just turns and looks away. And when you guys look back to the elevator, and Sophia, she'll be gesturing towards the elevator, sort of indicating that the conversation appears to be over.
Okay, let's head to the elevator. And she's going to ask the other two if they drove here.
No, I do not have such possessions, and I ordered a driver for myself. Maybe we can save some money if we go together.
Yeah, okay. Kate will order an Uber as we're going down.
The four of you will be driven in your Uber. There is a Toyota Prius that comes and picks you up, and you are driven through San Francisco. It's only about 1.5 miles away.
Hold on. Joe's going to suggest they pick up some rope. I didn't have a chance to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Kate will say she has some rope on her.
Can I see it?
Okay. She will open up her backpack, and there's a 50-foot thing of paracord in there.
Legit, sister. And he's going to look at Sister Isabel and Sister. Then fist bump offer a fist bump to both of them.
Kate will awkwardly, like a white girl, do it.
Does Sister Isabel leave Joe hanging?
No, she doesn't. She'll head it up.
Awesome. You guys make it to a small building, which it has a couple of retail stores on the base floor level, and what looks to be about 4 apartments up above. So it's a 3-story building. The shop where I have put this red square has a sign that says Bobasaurus out front, and it looks like this. There's a few people milling about in and out of this particular store, but overall it is a relatively low-key little area, nothing dramatic or out of the ordinary happening. There's a parking lot behind it where a few cars could park, but other than that, this is what you guys come to.
Okay, well, let's get out of our Uber.
Mhm.
And Kate is going to pull the Delta Wave detector out.
Anybody want some boba?
What is boba?
Come here, sister. And he's gonna like open the door for the ladies.
Yep.
Sisters will nod and head in.
Okay, Kate will head in too.
Gonna blow his $100 on like boba and snacks for the girls and himself.
Absolutely. So, yes, inside of Bobasaurus, for those of you who haven't been inside of a boba shop before, usually there's a very minimal amount of seating, sort of bar seating, looking out the window, maybe one or two cheap tables, plastic chairs. And then there is a bar, sort of like a Starbucks, where you can order drinks. The menu has all sorts of dinosaur themed boba and milk tea drinks on it. And there is a pair of women who are there drinking boba who are speaking in Japanese. They're just now putting their straws into the boba and getting ready to have their first sip, but they're trying to decide where to sit, you suspect. There's a young woman working at the counter. She's maybe 17.
Isabel will walk up to order and she will say, "Hello, Iha. I'm trying to have some of this boba. I haven't had any before."
Hi, welcome. Yeah, so if you're new, I definitely recommend our Bobasaurus Rex, which is like a giant milk tea with 3 kinds of boba in it and pineapple chunks. It is very popular. Also, we have a pterodactyl, which is like a taro milk tea with boba and whipped cheese topping. And Bronta Bobasaurus, which is like a matcha milk tea with boba. Those are our 3 best sellers.
Do you have one of the brown sugar ones?
Sure.
Is the brown sugar one good, Kate?
I like them.
Okay, I guess I'll have the, oh gosh, this is so exciting. I've never had boba before. The pterodactyl?
Sure. Yeah, I can bring you up. Do you want boba in that brown sugar tea, or would you like it without?
Just out of character, boba is like the crystal pearls in it.
Yeah, they're little tapioca balls that are kind of chewy when you
Yes,
eat
please.
them. Great.
Double sugar though.
Absolutely. And for you, she says, looking at Joe.
Your pick. And I'll take whatever 3 snacks you think are like the most legit, dude, and like keep the change. And he like slides the 100 over.
Oh my god.
Nice. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we have these really nice egg waffles. I can cook you up some. And we also have Pocky and this imported juicy fruit snack from Vietnam. That's where boba's from, right? No, Thailand. God damn it. From Thailand.
One of the snacks can go to those ladies over there. I'm just gonna point to the 2 women.
Oh, sure. I'll call them over, or you can just give them to them.
Righteous. And he's gonna go take a seat.
Nice.
Kate is also going to sit down, but she's going to pull out her detector magic finally and try and be a little bit discreet. She's a little worried about how loud it's going to beep though.
Yeah, and in fact, as Kate, you sit down, you pull out your detecto magic, it does start to beep and go off. It's not very loud, just like a little toy, like a kid's toy, you know?
Okay. Just going to wave it around some.
Yes, it beeps and whirs for about 6-7 seconds, and then gets quiet again. The Japanese women who have just started have sat sort of nearby to you at another table. They sort of look over at you and see you doing this as they sip their boba, and then, get back to their conversation in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about you. They're talking about you, Joe.
Oh, legit! He's gonna get up and go over and walk over them.
Yeah.
And he does not know Japanese, so he's gonna start with, "Hi, how you guys doing?"
Oh, hi, says one of them.
I got like 3 snacks from the really sweet girl on the other side, like working the counter. Would you like he starts thinking, the Pocky or the waffles or hey, what was the other one, Kate?
Oh yeah, the juicy fruit candies.
Juicy fruit?
Yeah, it's candy.
Candy.
I'm okay, she says. However, you notice that she's a little bit like, I mean, Joe is beautiful. And he is an American surfer bro here in the US of A. You definitely get the sense that at least one of these women is not from the United States and is like a tourist, if not both of them. They said, actually, you know what? I would like some candy if you're getting it here. Yeah, sure.
Sweet. And ignoring the irony of the word sweet, we'll go back and just kind of wait around for the food to be served so you can bring it over to everybody.
Yeah. You get the candy, the Pocky are up immediately, so you can grab those. The waffles a minute later. And the girl who's working the counter is now in back preparing your boba teas. So you're
He will deliver the food and then just say like enjoy and then just go back to his spot with the other 2 ladies. His ladies.
Yep.
Really, aren't you such a seducer?
Huh? He like looks blankly at Isabel and then looks over at them and looks back at her and then like chuckles like, nah. People are just friends. Friends you haven't met yet.
You've got a great outlook.
Kate's going to give Isabella kind of look.
Isabel's laughing to herself about this. She's having fun.
So he pulls out that whatever ohmometer meter thing.
The detecto magic.
Starts to fiddle with it.
Yep. A minute later, your milk teas are ready, and they're all out on the counter. They've got that heat-sealed film on the top. I don't know if you guys have been. But you have to use the big, thick straw to, like, poke through it so you can start drinking.
Like a proper gent, Joe will fetch them for the ladies if they don't beat him to it.
Oh, thank you.
With straws and napkins.
Napkins are probably necessary. It's difficult to open one of these up without making a mess.
Yep.
Isabel's going to struggle and stab this straw and not make it through in the first 2 tries before she hits through. Takes a sip and she kind of frowns. She doesn't like it. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too sweet for her.
Yeah, it's also
her taste.
It's taro. Maybe she doesn't know that very well, and like whipped cheese topping.
You did say whipped cheese.
Yes. It's kind of like, cream cheese that has the consistency of whipped cream. It's kind of sweet a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kate watches Sister Isabel closely to see how she reacts to it, because that does not sound good.
Yeah, Isabel is straight up regretting, having new experiences and having fun times because this is kind of nasty. And she tastes the cream cheese and she's like, internally, like, couldn't I have just gotten this on a bagel and then it would have been good?
So as Sister Isabel...
Wait, can I roll to perceive? Can I roll to perceive that, or can I just perceive that disappointment in the drink?
You can perceive the disappointment in the drink. Isabel is the first person to take a sip, and as she swallows her first few sips, the detecto magics go off again.
Kate is just finishing putting her straw in, and she looks down at the detecto magic.
Did that thing just go off?
Yeah, it did.
What did I just drink?
It goes off for about 7 seconds, and then stops.
She's kind of looking at herself and like expecting something to happen. It's like kind of like looking around, like
Can Kate remember when it went off before? Did she see if the other 2 were just starting to drink their drinks?
Yeah, it was about the time when they got their drinks and sat down.
Uh-oh.
About this time, a trio of bro-grammer types will walk in. They've got their hoodies, their company hoodies. They've got jeans. They're a little too loud, but at the same time talking about nerdy stuff. They're surprisingly fit. But yeah, they head over to the counter and start to order as if they've done it 1,000 times before.
As Joe downs his drink.
Kate's gonna say maybe you shouldn't drink that.
Joe, you take a
Oh,
sip
I
of your
drink
drink.
it.
You take a sip of your drink and the detecto magic goes off again.
Kate is gonna
Oh.
push her drink away.
Thank you, Joe. I'm not going to be the only one. Okay? She's a little bit annoyed at Kate about that comment.
Oh, Joe will look at his drink very pensively, and then like I the people that just came in, and look at his colleagues, and ask, "So you've been on these jobs often?"
You know, I just had one, and honestly, Joe, I have to be honest with you. God willing, it was a disaster. My shoulder still hurts from it, and I'm still recovering. And I would say, thank God I'm still here. But with the benefits, they're tempting, and here I am again. And it's wonderful to meet you, Joe.
What happened on your last one?
It was
Wow.
a little bit traumatic, I have to be honest with you, and I'm still finding my faith regarding the incident, and I'm really hoping that this is not nearly so scary.
Joe will have a very serious expression, put his hand on her shoulder, on Sister Isabel's shoulder, and say, "The divine is with you."
Yes, that's true, Joe. He's with all of us.
Kate, this asks, do you have a weapon?
No, I'm a sister of the cloth. I carry no weapons.
She's gonna look at Joe. Do you have a weapon?
I'm a devout proselyte of pacifism, Kate.
So what do we do if a giant badger attacks us?
We teach it the ways of peace. Trust me. And Joe will pull out a Sharpie and he will write a peace symbol on on the back of his hand with this really broad tip Sharpie and just say, "If you see me make one of these, just know that it's not gonna bother y'all. You guys are gonna be fine, okay?"
Peace, bro.
Okay.
Peace. Do you think the programmers are at all persuaded by the politics being displayed by Joe? Shady?
I think they are in their own world to a degree. They're very accustomed to any type of weirdo walking around the streets of San Francisco. From your Joes to your tourists to your homeless people to your tech startup weirdos to any type of person. And so they don't seem to be paying you guys much attention at all. They're sitting around waiting for their drinks now, having ordered. One of them is saying, "Why would we use Kafka when we could get on Kate's?" And the other one's like, "Preach." They sort of go on about that.
Joe's gonna get up and try to get the attention of the person who served their boba drinks, who's working the counter. Probably when she comes out, because it sounds like there's only one person working this place, when she comes out with the drinks for those programmers.
Yeah, you do see someone else in the back. It's an older Hispanic gentleman who is maybe in his mid-40s, and he is doing some sort of stock room stuff, moving containers from a back room into the main area, refilling some, supplies, that sort of thing. But yes, the one person who took your orders is also making the drinks right now. It's a little bit slow, but luckily it's not too busy here.
During this, Kate is going to stand up and using the detecto magic, she's going to walk in a circle around Isabel.
Yeah, it isn't going off. It went off when Sister Isabel took her sip of her drink, and it went off when Joe took a sip of his drink, and then it promptly stopped a few seconds afterwards. During those times, the little compass, which is supposed to point between the source and the destination, if it's on that line of delta radiation, was just spinning around wildly. So it apparently wasn't aligned in the ray. And you can make an intellect science roll, Isabel, if you would like to. What's your angle?
I was really just like doing my thinking, like what can I do about this? I was doing intellect and investigation, like what am I deducing from this? And I'm thinking I got a 4. Isabel's going to think to herself for a moment. She's gonna reach over to Joe and say, "Hey, can I borrow your drink for a second?"
I will say Joe's relatively close to the counter and the table because he moved over to the counter to get the server's attention. But he'd be like, "Yeah, go for it, sister."
Okay. Isabel is going to pick up his cup and pour a little of it into hers. And she's not happy about drinking this again. It was pretty nasty, and I don't think a concoction of the two will be any nicer. But she'll take another sip and see what happens with the detector.
Yeah, the detector stays quiet. Joe, you do get the person's attention who took your order as she brings the drinks to the programmers. They are all getting Bobasaurus Rexes. She says, yeah, how can I help you?
What's your name again?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, I was just wondering, how do you make boba? Can you just show me really quick? I've never seen boba made before, and it blew my mind.
Oh, we don't make the boba here. It's all, we get it shipped in. But, it's just these little tapioca balls. I guess it comes in several forms. There's the normal boba, which is these little tapioca balls, and they're nice and chewy. Then there's the clear boba that has sort of, it pops when you chew on it, and that can be really fun and offer interesting texture. I'm actually not sure how we make that one or how they make that one.
Okay, so clarifying question. Did all of us get a certain type of boba?
You guys all got the standard boba in your drinks.
Okay. So, if I wanted to make this for myself, I swear, I'm not going into the business. I just wanted to, understand. If I wanted to make this for myself, where would I buy, where do you guys buy your boba from? Who's your supplier?
You'd have to ask Frank. He's in the back. I just make the drinks. I bet you can buy it online. I mean, it can't be that hard to get, right? It seems like there's a boba shop on every block these days,
This stuff, it's divine. He's gonna, wave his hand, "Hey, Frank!
Yeah, the man in the back turns and glances over at you two, and then comes up to the counter and says, yeah, how can I help you?
This is the greatest boba I've ever had. Did you change? I've been here before, total lie, and it's just never been this good before. And she's fantastic, points to Rebecca. Did you change your supplier or something? It's legit.
Oh, nope. We've always had the same supplier. We make it off site and ship it over here. It's a family recipe.
Wow, that and the same ingredients too. That's just hard to believe, man. He's gonna look back at his friends they're loving it.
He shrugs and he says,
look at that smile. I'm like,
he says, I have to get back to work, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you. Leave us a review on Google and Yelp.
All right, man. Takes his seat again.
And then Frank goes back and he goes into the back room and closes the door behind him.
Joe will sit down and say, quietly, and characteristically quietly, "You think it's the tea or the boba?"
Well, I just took a sip and her little thing did not go off when I mixed them. How about you take another sip of your drink? Can you do that, Joe?
He'll look back at Sister Isabel, look at his drink, glance back at Rebecca. "Yeah, I think it's more than that, though, man. I think I have to try a different flavor." So he'll take a sip. Take a sip. Does anything happen?
Nope. And
Right.
at this time, Kate, you wanted to go over to the Brogrammers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You just want to be nearby to them?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So they aren't particularly worried about somebody walking up nearby, especially because you're probably on your phone or playing it off in some way. But as they drink their bobas, your detecto magic does in fact go off once again.
Okay, she's going to pick it up and she's going to walk in a circle looking for the line.
Great. Give me a perception plus investigation, alertness, or science. You get 3 options. So
I will
choose.
choose investigation.
Great. Joe, what are you doing? Are you doing a investigation roll?
No, I was trying not to meta game. I wanted to see if he'd make a connection between. I wanted to see if he'd consider the possibility that, like, all it takes is one sip and now they're somehow supernaturally marked. That's what it was.
Gotcha. Kate is not beholden to petty social conventions. Kate has a job to do, damn it. And she stands up and walks around the Brogrammers waving her little children's toy, which is whirring and beeping. And you see you do catch a signal, like you watch the little compass spin around and then snap into position in one point, and you put it back and you try and orient it, and you are actually able to get apparently this line between I guess one of the Brogrammers and a point which appears to be in one of the apartments above you. Perhaps the one directly above you, in fact.
Okay. Kate is going to apologize, say that that it's a new experiment she has. She's going to leave back to her group.
They sort of laugh to themselves and giggle and get back into their drinks, and they take it as an opportunity, to like be like, oh, that was weird, oh, whoa, weird. And then they just sort of walk off down the street. And at the same time, another new group comes in. They all appear to be Chinese Americans. 3 of them are guys. Go ahead and give me a charisma plus alertness roll, all of you.
Okay.
To sort of read the vibe of this group of people that came in. Okay, Joe, very charisma alertness. Kate is
Not paying attention.
Very excited about finding this Delta radiation connection. Sister Isabel and Joe, though, definitely pick up some interesting vibes from this group that just walked in. Especially the men appear to be kind of hard men. They have tattoos. You see the bulge of a weapon in one of their sweaters. And the woman that's with them doesn't appear to be like that at all. She actually kind of gives off a kind of nerdy vibe, but seems driven and walks right up to the counter and orders a selection of 10 boba drinks to go.
Joe, how big is this group?
4 people. There's 3 men and the woman who walked up to the counter.
And the 3 men are taking a seat or just hanging out behind, like, waiting for the woman to order?
Yep, they're just sort of milling about.
Yeah, while Kate was doing her circle and trying to deduce the direction of the source, Joe whispered to Isabel, "We might be marked, dude. Like, it might take just, like, one sip, like magic."
Listen, there is no such thing as magic. Just witchcraft, and these witches, this witchcraft cannot harm his believers. You'll be fine. I'll be fine.
No, I'm not worried. I'm just, like, thinking it through, dude. And then Kate rejoins them.
Okay, Kate comes back and she says, I think I know where it is. Or at least I know a line of where it is.
Joe is going to immediately leave the table as Kate says that, and these guys come in. And tell me again where they are, because I'm actually going to lay a trap for them right now. Whoa. I just want to know, like, where I can lay it, basically.
Sure. So These men are in the little waiting area. Think of it like a Starbucks or something where there's just a little bit of seating and a counter. And they look a little alert, but are mostly just sort of looking around.
Okay. Joe will pull out the Sharpie out of his pocket, and he will. Let me think. This is like he's not a subtle man, so how's he going to do this? He's going to he's going to go over to a table that's closest to the waiting area, and he, in full backpack and gear, which will definitely make him stand out, is going to use the Sharpie very quickly to draw something underneath the table and mark an area as a trap that's basically like a half moon, so that it's easy to walk into, or to try to make one of these guys walk into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're going to make a trap using peace, man. And you're just going to trap an area and try and make it somewhere that this person will be likely.
One of the five will trip in.
Sure, yeah. That's no problem. Go ahead.
With his back to them, hopefully, so they're not seeing exactly what he's doing. Even if they did, they wouldn't know, but still.
Yep. So go ahead and roll intellect plus influence at difficulty 6.
Okay. Right, I got 6.
Great. So as the woman at the counter finishes her order, Joe draws a little peace sign on the ground with the marker.
Under a table, the nearest table to these guys in the waiting area.
Yep, under the table.
Doesn't want to overtly vandalize this place.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well have been looking for some change on the ground or something. Nobody really pays it too much mind. But as she finishes her order, the woman will call the other people over for a small huddle. And as they move, one of them will pass through the trap region. So let me know what actually happens when this trap is triggered. What does it look like?
For others, it looks like nothing because I have the enhancement that makes it not look like any form of attack.
Mm-hmm.
But for the person that triggered it, the target briefly sees images related to pacifism with massive emotional potency equivalent to the successes, and it moves them to take the trauma, pacifism.
Yep. So one of the men who is with this woman, let's see, he passes.
You can roll to resist, though. You can roll mind.
Yep. So he catches sight of this peace sign under a table, and like he is deep in an acid trip, suddenly is struck with the oneness of humanity and community. And you kind of see him pause and stare, and his mouth drops open, and a tear forms at the edge of his eye, and he just sniffles a little bit and looks at his friends. He looks at you and the programmers who are walking away, and there's just one of the other men sort of like grabs him by the sleeve and pulls him over, like, what are you doing, man? But he looks shaken to a degree and uncertain for a moment. I think at least Isabel, with your charisma alertness, you were kind of keyed into these guys, would definitely notice that he seems to have been impacted by that little peace sign that Joe drew on the ground. And you make a note to yourself.
Don't walk near the peace sign.
But yes, that's what you see.
And Kate had said right before he left that she had found the direction. So Joe, after he does that, is gonna signal for Kate and Sister Isabel to come out of the area, like to leave the shop.
So Isabel will gather the drinks, clean the table quickly with a wipe, and deposit them in the trash. She will deposit hers at least, and she'll bring Joe's along.
So you guys are standing outside on the street. People are driving and walking by.
A little bit of ambient noise, a little less close to that group, and he's gonna say, So, Kate, what'd you find, man?
So I'm pretty sure it's in a line that was above us. So I think it's in one of the apartments that's up there, if
Oh,
not the one that's directly above
Let's
it.
see.
legit. Yeah, we can get up there. Yeah.
What if
Let's see.
someone's home right now, though? Should we wait till nighttime? No,
Now
that'll
we
just make it more likely they'll be home.
Maybe
we
they're out
gotta.
to work right now, and like it might be better to do it now.
Maybe, yeah.
Isabel will look around and see if there's any stairs leading up to the apartment from the roadside level.
There is a fire escape that is currently withdrawn, so you can't just climb up it from the street. There is also a front door to this 4 apartment building that has like all the mail slots on it and a little buzzer to buzz up to the apartments that are above the shop. Kate, with your amount of success, you got an outcome of 4, which is a complete success. So I'm going to say that you were able to pinpoint the location of the source of the delta radiation to being almost certainly within the apartment that is directly above this one.
Okay, she will clarify that it's in the one that's directly above it. She'll point that one out.
Apartment 2.
So just that fire escape, is that like the one facing the front building? Like it's like super overt, not on the sides or on the back. Is that like the only one?
Yes, that is the only fire escape, and then the front door is also, on the street facing you. It doesn't appear that there are any other exits to the apartments or entrances to the apartments. Also, the one difference from the picture and the actual thing is that if you look closely in the game, your characters will see that there are bars on the windows that are near the fire escape that are, unlockable and openable from the inside and potentially from the outside with maybe a
Totally
key.
reasonable.
Yeah.
And that front door for the apartment, does that look like a slidey code thing? Because we're in like edgy SF, or does it just look like a typical key thing?
It is a typical key open door. It's like a normal residential deadbolt lock doorway.
Joe is, and those are barred. Are any windows open?
One of the upper apartment windows is cracked open. It's even the one that is accessible from the fire escape, but it still has the bars closed. And you see several of the other windows in the other apartments are cracked for fresh air. However, the ones in the apartment right above Bobasaurus are all closed.
Joe is going to say, anybody pick locks? Really quietly.
Kate is going to shake her head.
No, Joe, the Lord does not wish for us to steal.
Oh man.
Pretty sure he wishes for us to do it right now.
Well, for the sake of the greater good, maybe, but I wouldn't know the first thing about picking a lock.
Did we see Joe land on his flying surfboard
Yes.
when we came out of the elevator?
But you so did.
Yes.
Okay. Can you fly up to the roof or something?
Yeah, man. And he's gonna look at you two and like this surfboard that he has been nonchalantly carrying as though it's like an extension of him this whole time, in addition to his very heavy backpack. and say, ladies first?
Wait. Can we go around the back of the building? Does it have a back? What's on the other side?
Yeah, there is a little parking lot, and then there is a tiny little alleyway in the back that has a door that enters into the stock room, you would presume. And also the back of the other business, which is in this building, which at the moment is empty and for lease. About this time, the group of 4 who walked in, the tats and the woman, they exit Bobasaurus with a few carrying cases filled with boba drinks. and they make their way to the parking lot where there is a large black Escalade with a very, very tinted rear windows and driver's side window. And they get in and put all of the boba in, but the car doesn't leave.
Well, that's awkward.
Joe is going to go to the. Let's see. How busy is this, Shady? Like, or does it look like more people are pulling in or walking into this place? Like, are more people pulling into the driveway or the parking lot?
Yeah, there is a car that is pulling in right now. You see a small group of what appear to be college students exit it and head into Bobasaurus.
Joe will point to them, or not point. He'll like head point, like nod to them, and say, "They're after what we're after, and I don't know if they got it, man." And then he's going to, at risk of making himself even more overtly noticeable, walk into that parking lot, and then seem like he dropped his surfboard. So if I could make a performance roll to like fake that, and then as he gets like his surfboard back up, try to make another quick trap.
Give me a quick charisma plus either stealth or performance roll, Joe.
Oh yeah, he not sneaky.
Okay, you can also give me another roll for your gift.
Whether these people are relevant to this event or not, those people need to become pacifists, and Joe knows it.
Yes, you can draw another, probably scratch another peace sign into the asphalt of the parking lot.
Damn it, not a very good one, but here we go.
Yep. And as you do so, as you're standing up, the door to the Escalade opens up, and somebody steps out, one of the men. He doesn't immediately address you. He seems to be sort of figuring out what you're up to, maybe. As you get up and start walking away, and he catches sight of the peace sign on the ground, like his friend, he sort of seems transfixed by it for a moment, and then shakes his head and sees Joe making his way off. And
Joe's cover story is he's going to look. Is there like a dumpster for this shop?
Sure.
This boba shop.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's where this dirty, like stinky hot backpacker man is headed.
Towards the dumpster to do a little dumpster diving.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, you get it. However, the person who saw this peace sign and who was shaken by it was not sufficiently shaken to change his worldview like his friend, and did see you leaving that area, and now is going back into the Escalade and saying something with some urgency. Kate and Sister Isabel, you also witness this exchange as Joe goes into the alleyway too.
Oh boy.
Isabel does not have much to do at present. She's just going to take a sip of Joe's boba, and for all purposes, just be an observer for now. And she's going to think that Joe's boba is actually much better than the cream cheese one that she got.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Not an appreciation.
A lot more like, approachable as an initial boba drink.
Do you think you could lift me up and we could get to the fire escape?
I can try.
It looks super suspicious, but I don't know. Maybe we could talk off like we forgot our keys.
Okay. Sure. Isabel will offer a knee for you to stand on.
Okay.
To try and help boost you up.
All right. Kate, you are going to be boosted up. I will give you both Go ahead and both of you roll Brawn plus Athletics at difficulty 6, and we will pool your outcomes together and see if you are able to boost Kate up. Yep. It's actually very difficult for Kate to pull herself up. I mean, a pull-up's not easy. And it's an awkward position. Sister, you're able to help Kate up.
Yeah, I'm pushing her butt. I'm like, come on. Just pull yourself up.
I'm trying. It's hard.
Eventually, though, Kate, you do make it up and onto the fire escape. And now you could lower the ladder down for Sister Isabel if you wanted. But in the meantime, Joe, you've gone into the alleyway to the dumpster. Are you dumpster
Do you find
diving?
anything good? Yeah.
That's a great question. Go ahead and give me perception investigation to do a take in this dumpster.
Love it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. I don't have any, so I'm gonna do this at a higher difficulty.
Yep. You roll at +1 difficulty, so 7.
Ooh.
All right. You look in the dumpster, and the thing that strikes you about it is that there's mostly just trash bags, and it looks like refuse from the boba shop. Nothing too out of the ordinary. No golden bars or corpses or an exquisite Tiffany lampshade that was undervalued by its previous owner. Nothing like that. So as you're looking into this dumpster, just giving a peek, just in case, you do see the people from the Escalade leave the car and start approaching the alleyway where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do anything, Joe?
Isabel will be returning to the parking lot and observing them entering the alleyway.
Great. Kate, you are up on the fire escape. Are you going to be doing something while they're doing all this?
Oh dear. Yeah, let's just lower the thing down.
Okay.
I guess I have a mechanical question.
Sure.
It says that anyone who witnesses you place this trap learns about its type and can avoid it at will. If they don't know that it's there, like they know, like, oh, these peace symbols, we should go around them. But if they don't know that a peace symbol is there, can they avoid it still?
They can find it if they know about it. The person you affected earlier, they got this pacifism trauma, and the enhancement that you have on here that makes this effect not obvious to the people who it would have impacts is only functional if they are successfully traumatized. So if they get 3 mind damage at least, right?
Right.
So that person would not know to avoid the peace signs. However, this person who got a partial success, who got hit with the peace signs, saw it, got absorbed in it, now would be able to maybe pull himself out of it if he saw another one.
So Joe's going to lay another trap literally right where he is and stay there as these people approach. And my question is, I guess, like, I know they can avoid it if they saw it, but if he's in front of it, it's like on a trash can. I'm just not sure how that works, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, one of them, the one who saw it earlier at the car in the parking lot,
Kind of has a clue. Okay.
he says something in Chinese to the rest of the group as they are headed towards you. And you notice them averting their eyes from the peace sign and instead focusing on you. And the one who you hit earlier says, "You, who are you? What are you doing here?"
He will speak in flawless Mandarin.
Nice. Oh, so you overheard them speaking.
Yeah.
Yes, you definitely overheard them. One of them saying, "Don't look at the signs that he puts onto the ground. They did something to me. It's witchcraft."
And so my question, can I lay a trap behind, like literally inside this trash can, because actually it's just a radius issue. So if you can hide it, I think you're good. That was the mechanical question.
To people who are clued off to it, they are able to avoid it. You can't like hide it and then it goes. That's sort of the mechanic instead of like rolling to see the trap and rolling to see the tripwire here. It's like
That's
you
fair.
can flawlessly hide it, but if they learn what it looks like, they can avoid it.
Okay.
So, but yes, they will approach you and be asking you what you're up to and why you're there.
He will have drawn another one. You asked me what I would do while they approach. That would be drawing one like on the trash can or something. So you'll stand in front of it.
They say, "What are you doing here?"
There's the trash can one. Let me mark that off. Now I'm dipping into mind because I've used up all my source.
Yep.
And it's just going to be a whatever foot radius circle. So we'll see if it hits anybody. If not, I tried. He will reply in flawless Mandarin without a surfer bro accent. What are you doing here, my friends? As he sets the surfboard down.
They seem a little surprised that you speak Chinese. They say, "We're here doing a business inspection. We need you to leave the alleyway while we perform our inspection, please."
Business? Wow, what kind of business? You know, I'm here on an inspection as well, but a different kind. And he stands very tall, and his like demeanor does not at all match his current visible style.
Yes, you see them sort of glancing at each other, and they say, "It's a security inspection. We're trying to see how secure this building is for insurance."
Is there a problem before? He looks up at the building, and looks back at them, like, seems like a lot of people. Was there a crime?
Oh, no. It's just how we operate. Now, we're going to enter through this door, and I need you to please step aside.
Tell me where the door. It's just a back door. I'm guessing.
It's just a back door.
Sure. And he picks up the surfboard and says, "Best of luck. May the finest surpass the rest," and walk away.
Excellent. And as you do so, they kneel. One of them kneels down next to the back door and pulls out a set of lock picks.
Does anybody enter how many foot radius is it? 20-foot radius of the one he walked away from?
Yes. However, they all they avert their eyes
Fantastic.
from the sigil as directed. One of them keeps his eyes on you even as you leave the alleyway and is sort of watching what you do a little bit.
Joe, does he have anything interesting to do as he leaves the alleyway? Actually, Joe is going to hop on his floating surfboard and float to the roof in front of them.
Yeah, the one who's watching you will shout urgently to the rest and point at you, and they will watch you float up to the roof. And Isabel, you also get to see this. Meanwhile, Kate, you have lowered the fire escape, so now anyone can go upstairs.
I see. Isabel doesn't know that she has lowered the fire escape, but the fact that he just did that gives her prompting to get out of the parking lot and maybe head back where that fire escape is.
And I guess Kate is now going to go to the 3rd floor, and she's going to ask in the window if anyone's there.
Yes, there is somebody there. You hear a call from the bathroom. He says, "Who's that? Who's there?"
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm staying in apartment 2 and I forgot my keys. And the window's locked. Can I, crawl through your apartment just to the main hallway? I'm so sorry.
Go ahead and give me charisma plus influence, Kate.
I just realized that Joe's going to do something too, but I'll let that happen after Kate does Kate's thing.
2.
Yeah, give me a minute. He seems
Thank
annoyed.
you, you're a lifesaver. Also, just to clarify, because there's a second pandemic going on, we all have masks on. It's not out of the ordinary for us to have masks on.
Oh, yes. So for context, there is currently an outbreak of ghoul fever, which is some sort of new disease which causes itchiness and drooling and also severe mental health effects in those that are affected. Right now, it's impacting maybe 10 to 100,000 people worldwide, mostly in very urban areas like San Francisco. People are wearing masks. The Center for Disease Control mostly believes it's spread through physical contact, but is still a little unknown. And so people are being very safe, wearing masks, that sort of thing. And it's not unusual at all.
Okay, Kate's also going to pull her gloves on as she waits.
Yep, gloves as well are very common right now. Isabel, what were you like to do?
I'm going to head towards the. I'll hurry, forwards, clambering through this parking lot, and I'll see that Isabel is up on the fire escape. I'll go, but she won't go up the fire escape. She'll turn back and stand, on the corner between the parking lot and the fire escape.
Great. Joe, what do you do now that you've floated up to the roof?
Question, is that car unoccupied? Like, are all 5 out of there and over the girl?
The windows are really tinted, but you suspect the driver, you never saw the driver enter or exit. So there may be a driver still in there.
Okay, but he's absolutely being watched as he floats up the building, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're like shouting in Chinese and pointing at you, saying what you would expect. Holy shit, that person's floating up on their surfboard.
Joe is instead of going up to the rooftop, he's actually going to go over. So he's like 3 stories up now, like level with the roof. He's going to go over to be right on top of the like super secure vehicle thing and yell in perfect Chinese very loudly to the men that are staring at him. Get the driver out, quick! As he pulls his backpack around to have more access to it, because it's a pretty big bag. So he's standing on a surfboard, yelling to get the driver out in Mandarin to the guys that are outside of the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are shouting to each other, and now you've actually gotten the attention of some of the people who are walking by on the street. They're now pointing. You see a young woman who is pulling out her cell phone to take a video of this whole thing. The Chinese men are not pulling any weapons or anything, but they are rushing over.
Not breaking into that door, right?
No, they've left one person to try and pick the locks while the rest of them all run over. What do you do when they run up to you?
Is the driver coming out or no?
They're asking, like, why? What is this? What's happening? They seem confused and alarmed by all of this. The one who you hit in the store with your peace sign seems inclined to sort of believe you and is knocking on the window to the driver's side door.
Isabel might be seeing this and is fully going to get involved at this point. She's going to walk over to these Chinese men, of which there are 3 outside right now and 1 on the door. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's the woman who is not... She doesn't appear to be like a gangster. These guys are clearly part of some sort of criminal organization or gang or something. The woman is not. She is there. There is one of the guys. He is at the back door picking the lock. And there's 2 other guys. One of them, the one that got hit with the peace sign in the store. And they are talking to Joe, who is floating / resting right on top of the Escalade's roof.
So Isabel, can she see the driver, through this tinted window?
Yeah, if you get around to that side, you can see them there.
Yeah. She's walking up, and as she walks up, she's digging down below her neckline and pulling out a beaded rosary. She begins shouting, the devil is in this room, the devil is in this building. You must flee before the might of God.
All right.
And leave this place, you will surely perish and leave his eternal kingdom. And she is going to be shouting at the men she can see and the driver. And the
Yes.
woman, too.
Yeah, go ahead and roll charisma plus occult.
Okay.
Is Joe within range?
Joe will not be affected.
Oh.
And I will be spending a source here
Uh-huh.
and exerting.
Nifty.
And Isabel is going to make a real fucking big shift from like nice nun to losing her shit about the the eternal damnation that awaits her if she does not perform her duties.
Yes, fire and brimstone. She screeches out in this miraculously captivating tone. Incredible sermon.
She points at the lockpick. She says, "God will damn you for your sins. You shall not steal."
Yes, and all of the gangsters, except for one, who may feel like, actually no, all of them, literally all of them are affected and terrified by this sermon. And there is a strength in Isabel's voice, and in fact it is obvious that this is no normal sermon. The whole street grows quiet as she speaks, and everyone seems to turn an ear to listen, and her voice quavers with an unnatural almost strength to it and pierces these people who are witnessing it, and those who she specifically calls out and points to and promises eternal damnation to fall to their knees as they're overtaken with a God-fearing terror of the threat, not from this nun, but from an almighty being that they feel now very really within themselves. You see them start to cry, start to whimper, prostrate themselves onto the ground in submission as Isabel gives them the fire and brimstone speech of a lifetime.
She will go over to the woman who is, sobbing with her hands clasped, and Isabel is starting to cry too. She says, "This is no joke. Do you understand what it means to be eternally damned? It is eternal, and we may not transgress." And she puts her hand on her forehead and says, "You must be saved. We must be saved. Go home, go to your family, go to confession."
Yes, you feel it too, of course. Isabel is equally as affected as all of these other people as they together have a religious moment right there in the parking lot. Joe, would you like to do anything while this is happening?
He's going to come down and start comforting people.
Okay, that's sweet.
Encouraging them to go on the paths of peace and life and righteousness.
Yeah, it seems a little bit much to you, but I mean, it's nice that they're listening to Isabel, and it seems like they're really genuinely affected by all this. Kate, meanwhile, the guy has gotten out. Yes, Kate hears Isabel screaming about fire and brimstone as the man exits the restroom and reluctantly lets Kate walk through his apartment to the hallway.
Thank you, your lifesaver.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to head down to the second floor.
Yep.
And she is going to knock on the apartment. Apartment 2.
Yeah, there is no answer as you knock.
She is going to look back and forth down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And assuming it's empty, she's going to pull a pry bar out of her backpack and be like, "Oh my god, if I get caught, my parents are going to kill me."
Yeah, no, there are no people watching you. There's no cameras watching this hallway. You pull out a crowbar from your backpack and get to work on that door. Go ahead and give me a brawn, athletics, crafts, or thievery roll. I'll allow any of the three.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oof. Just bounces off of it.
Yeah, you're having a hard time getting purchase with your crowbar. You're denting the door, and you're poking the door, and you're trying to get it underneath the trim, and gosh darn it, it's like they're designed to kind of make this difficult, and it's like heavy. They make it look so easy in the movies. Kate's doing her best to be the office worker savior. Meanwhile, the real saving is happening in the parking lot as this religious fervor overtakes the group, and as they aren't necessarily immediately leaving, but they're the one gangster who appears a little less affected than the rest is, trying to keep people together. One of them wanders off. The guy who's lockpicking the door seems to have gone away somewhere, maybe inside, but his picks are still in the lock. The driver opens the window and bids the rest of the group to come into the car, and some of them listen. One of the men is completely inconsolable. He's laying on the ground crying, and you suppose begging for forgiveness of some sort.
Isabel will go over there to comfort him and say, my child, please confess. There's no sin that is unforgivable in the eyes of the Almighty.
It's pretty clear that these people aren't able to effectively operate as a group, and now are a little more interested in maybe having a different day. The sun is setting. They look up at the sky, casting these gorgeous purples and oranges across the skyline. Most of them will start to leave.
Does this guy confess anything to me?
Yeah, you asked him to confess. He will confess all sorts of difficult things. It comes out like a stream from his lips, like
half in Mandarin.
Yeah, half in Mandarin, half in English, fragmented stories, references more, as though you've always been watching over him. To the time when he stole, from his sister, to the time when he broke that one guy's knees for not paying back his debts, to the dog fighting ring that he operates with his brother. Yes, he's crying and confessing sins to you, which are honestly rather heinous.
And Isabel will be stoic through this, It's the act of confession that absolves, and he is repentant now. And she says, listen, now you are a sinner. I was a sinner too, and now we must make things right.
Yes.
No sin may go unabsolved before the Lord, unless you earn your eternal hellfire.
He nods and whimpers at you.
Leave this place.
And yes, he will leave. It seems that this group has been dispersed. The Escalade leaves with the other woman, and the other two are going their own way, perhaps to find a nearby church or something.
Okay, so for the next little bit, there was a number of passerbyers that observe this.
Mm-hmm.
Isabel is going to be able to do nothing but continue preaching to these passerbyers about the good works of the Lord.
That's true. You are overcome by deific terror and God-fearing fervor.
She has to, share this feeling, and she has to, let people know that they are going to a bad place. And if they don't shape up, you are living in a city of sin. You must, be less materialistic. We cannot be living in a place like this and not making the goodwill known. And that's just how she's going to continue on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get a few people who are interested. Other people are more like, what is this person on about? Or just totally unaffected. But Joe, you get the feeling that Sister Isabel has gotten very caught up in her speech, and now that this group is dispersed, she seems to still be kind of caught up in it, and is going to talk to passerbys. But the group of Chinese gangsters have all left at this point. And where's Kate anyway?
he's gonna take the lockpicks out of the door because those don't belong there.
Yeah.
And then go into the alley. Let me check something. Does he have like any shot at successfully? But she's holding the attention. So is everybody looking in that direction of the door?
No, the passerbys, once this moment of incredible religious fervor sort of started, and Joe jumped off the car, and after the initial thing went by and Sister Isabel started approaching bystanders, people kind of made themselves scarce and have just sort of not wanting to get involved.
All right. With just sheer confidence, he's going to attempt to finish lockpicking that door.
Let's see it, Joe. Perception
I don't
thievery.
I don't know if the original... You said perception thievery?
That is for lockpicking.
I love it. Oh, so excited. Again, no thievery. So that's a higher difficulty, and I will exert for this. 2? Question mark? Did I get any successes from the previous guy's attempt at lockpicking?
Yes, I will say that you are able to finish what he started and open the storeroom door.
Alright, let me mark my mind. Okay. Yeah, and he waltzes on in. What's in there?
Inside, there is a storeroom that Frank is in. He is arranging some large Tupperware containers. Yeah, go ahead and roll perception alertness, difficulty 7 to see Joe doing this, Isabel. He is arranging some large Tupperware containers that are filled with boba. And he says, "Oh, I didn't see you there."
It's all good, Frank. The door was unlocked. I have a question. Do you have any idea why some, Chinese gangsters wanted to get in here? Because it was just blowing my mind, man.
What? Where were they?
They were, outside. You want to go see them? They just went down the street. Like there was a whole thing. He's, pointing out the open door.
You're not supposed to be here. You gotta go.
Oh, peace, brother. I got nothing on me, dude. I just want to make sure y'all good, it's not cool to have people coming after you. Some of them had, guns and stuff. No, I don't got anything like that on me. Can I make a roll to persuade him that I'm not going to hurt him or cause any trouble?
Yeah, go ahead and roll charisma and influence. Nice.
4?
Yeah, he is not threatened by you, it seems, but he still wants you to leave. He says, go. This is private. He seems very protective. The vibe you're getting off of this guy is that you walked in on something that needed to be hidden.
How size comparison between Joe and this guy? Just curious.
He is relatively small. Joe is probably roughly the same size as Joe, or a little bit smaller. He's, I would say, an average build.
Okay. So Joe will not be shooed out by this man's words. But he will say, "Look, I just wanted to help, dude. I don't want you to get into any kind of trouble. Do you need help with something? Is something up? Are you in a bad place, man?"
He has his keys in his hand, and he looks like he's rushing towards the back door to go somewhere. He pushes past Joe.
Away from the boba?
Yes. He pushes past Joe and heads out the back door.
Joe's going to follow him. He's going to his car, I presume?
He is not. He's actually running to the front of the building.
All right. Then let's see.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Does Isabel have some sort of trauma or something?
So Isabel would see Joe going back towards where this door was being lockpicked, and though she is losing her shit right now, she isn't stupid, and she's he's going to finish what they were starting. And that makes her mad. But she does, try to control herself, try to center herself and remind herself that the purpose of these missions is not always pure, but the ends justify the means, and it is for the greater good.
That's
she's not going to
contractor
head in there
mindset.
and scream at him.
Joe is going to get on that floating surfboard and just follow the guy while making small talk as this guy like fumbles with his keys to like open whatever that front apartment door is, etc., etc. Like that process.
As Isabel shouts at you, right?
Is Joe shouting at her? I thought she was just
you will
thinking
not
these
be
nasty
shouting at
thoughts.
him. She succeeded her self-control
Oh, right.
roles and is continuing to preach to the passerbys.
Great. Okay.
Joe is going. Sorry.
Go ahead,
To
Joe.
attempt to distract the man, Joe is going to say, "You don't understand, man. I was sent here to help you. I'm from the divine." Let's see if I can persuade him to at least pay attention to me for a smidge.
Yes, he seems singularly focused, and as he fumbles his keys into the lock and his hands are shaking, he screams at you and extremely agitated. He says, "You don't understand! Her light will fill the world!" And runs inside his
Doing
apartment.
all of this, can Kate be trying to lockpick the door?
Yes, let's give you a shot to lockpick it as this is going on, because it won't take too long to give up on the crowbar.
Yeah.
Do you have lockpicks?
She has a multi-tool. Can she use that?
You can use the multi-tool to break through the door, but it's going to be less like lockpicking and more like breaking and entering. So go ahead and give me I'll say intellect crafts to try and break through with that. Excellent. You bust open the doorknob. You can pry the doorknob off and get to the locking mechanism, and or you can actually, let's just say you pop the hinges. Oh no, those would be on the inside because that's how security works. Okay, you're able to dismantle the doorknob and the locking mechanism and dig out some of the wood so you can free the little latch, and with that, the door swings open. And as the door swings open, you hear the downstairs door to the hallway that you're in open up, and you hear Joe's voice, and you hear this man screaming.
She is going to head inside and then try and push something in front of the door.
Great. Yeah, as you head inside, you notice that you don't necessarily need to push something in front of the door because the back of this door is outfitted with a multitude of auxiliary deadbolt locks and latches.
Lock.
Yep. Yeah, Kate locks all the interior deadbolts as the owner of Bobasaurus runs upstairs and starts trying the door and shouting and screaming at the door. Joe, what are you up to as he does this?
What is Joe up to? You know, it's important to maintain peace in moments like these. He's going to take a step back. He's going to take a step back and realize that his charismatic attempts to calm or pacify or distract the man are not successful. And kind of wish he had taken that rope from Kate. But he didn't.
Wherever Kate is.
He has no rope on him and has no idea where Kate is. So he's gonna see this man struggling with the door. Like, how long does this man he's gonna wait like maybe a minute. Does the man just keep struggling with the door?
He is very agitated, almost foaming at the mouth. He knows there's deadbolts on the other side. And so he will pound on the door. And
I know what Joe's gonna do now. Sorry, I figured out. Go ahead, keep going.
No, yes, and as he does so, your detecto magic starts to go off. Kate, also your detecto magic starts to go off.
Okay.
Joe is going to step away from this man, and assuming he's sufficiently distracted for 3 seconds, drop a peace symbol on the ground because this man needs some peace.
He does. He absolutely
really
does. He's just like not living in the moment, you know?
There's just so much serenity to be had in the universe, you know? So I'm going to exert, because I'm Yeah, I just have to. And because I exerted, I can't also. I'm exerting to do the magic. I can't also exert to do it better, right? Is
Yep,
that true?
that is true.
That's fine. So let's do my. Hopefully this works out. Come on, Joe. That's all right. He drops the peace symbol. But the man's gonna have to walk into it, so you don't have to roll mind quite yet.
Yes, but
He can't.
he has to because you have him cornered, basically.
That's true.
So he will absolutely get caught up in it. And
Quite knowing what he got caught up in.
yes, and knowing that he got caught up in it a little bit, although he's so frazzled and like almost foaming at the mouth now. This weird energy that he's putting off, Joe, is anything but peaceful. It's like a panic. And as he looks at the peace sign, he shudders a moment as if overtaken by some external force, and he looks at you and he says, "You!" And he starts towards you as if he's going to, I don't know what, grab you, punch you. He seems furious at
It's
you.
a hallway, right?
Yes. This one has stairway that goes up and down and 2 doors in it. You're at a little landing, basically, in a staircase.
Joe will tell his surfboard, Sammy, hold him down. And the surfboard will float to be in front of him and push him against the door. I have no idea how much strength the surfboard has, but the point is just to hold the savage foaming man in place. Joe will also be using Brawn Brawl just to squish him against the hopefully unopenable door.
All right, there's your surfboard's roll. It's there. It's there for emotional support, you know.
Sammy the surfboard. At least they're in spirit. All right. Let me roll. I don't know, like Brawn Brawl or something.
Yes, Brawn Brawl to restrain the Bobasaurus owner, and then we'll get back to Kate.
One penalty because he is getting rattled and worried. Let me see. Hold on. Blah blah. That'd be 6. That'd be 5. I'm going to exert to ignore pain penalties. Hold him down. Rest for as long as possible is the goal.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Joe.
He slips from your grip and the surfboard's grip and starts to fumble his way downstairs. Like he's going to try and go a different way. Probably through the fire escape somehow, if he can, if he's physically capable. Meanwhile, inside of the apartment, Kate, you find not a particularly lived-in apartment. It's a 1-bedroom. The front door opens into this living room. You can see a dining nook and part of the kitchen in one direction, and in the other, a short hallway that leads to what you presume to be the bedroom and a bathroom. Where would you like to look first?
I guess this room, just a quick look. I don't imagine. I'm guessing that whatever it is that's psychic that produces boba that mind controls you, probably not going to be small. So it's just a quick investigation of this room. Then the kitchen, I guess, and then the bedroom, bathroom.
Yeah, so you're looking around. This is an apartment that appears almost like staged or nearly empty. It's very Spartan.
Okay.
And there's no family photos. There isn't a lot of like clutter or really signs of living. In the kitchen, you find a bunch of Tupperware containers all over, including in the sink and the fridge. You open it up and it has some bottles of Soylent, you know, that like shake that's all you can drink and that's all you have to eat. And also a bunch of Tupperware containers that are full of boba. There's no food though, other than that.
Okay. There's nothing producing the boba here, I guess.
Well, not in the kitchen, no.
Okay. Bedroom?
You go to the bedroom, similar to the living room. It's very under-decorated and very sparse. And then there is the bathroom. You open the door and you see that the bathtub is filled with a pink fluid, which looks very similar to the taro boba milk tea that
Oh, God.
Isabel drank earlier, and there are little boba balls floating in it.
Okay, is there anything floating in there, or is it just...
Just
Did
boba.
something leave it?
It's very opaque, but your detecto magic is whirring and spinning still. It hasn't stopped in the last 20, 30 seconds. And it appears to be pointing. Yes, it is pointing towards the bathtub.
She's going to approach the bathtub and just look into the opaqueness.
No sign of movement.
Is there like a toilet plunger or something here?
Yeah.
She is going to try and dig through the opaque fluid with the toilet plunger and see if there's something solid in there.
Yeah, you dip the plunger in and wave it around inside of the bathtub, and you do touch something. You knock something in there, and something wriggles, and the surface of the water shifts. There's definitely something alive in there. Some sort of creature.
Can she get roughly how big it is?
Probably about as big as like a salmon or something.
Could she fit it in her backpack?
Probably, if you can get it out. You can't grab it with the plunger, though.
She can try and like push it up against the edge of the bathtub and knock it out of the bathtub.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity plus melee or brawl.
Okay.
I'll also allow survival because it'd be like catching a thing.
She has none of those skills, so let's do it.
Let's do it, Kate. Okay. Wow,
3.
Look at that. 3. Yeah, you are able to push the thing with the plunger against the edge of the bathtub and pin it. And you can slightly, you pop it up and out of the water, and it lands on the ground with a splat. It is a unusual creature, the likes of which you've never seen before. The best way to describe it would be it is like a toad with yellow warty skin and that overall shape, but it's long like a centipede. It has 16 legs. God. And at the end of its tail, instead of ending like a blunt little tip like a toad, it has a stinger that is stabbing around in the air. You can give me a Dex plus Athletics to dodge the stinger as it stings around towards you. But unfortunately, as you're going away, it does sting you in your calf. So go ahead and take a severity 1 injury of stung by alien monster.
Okay.
You guys are doing great. Besides the fact that you're all completely split up and doing totally different things.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
I'd like to say that Isabel's going to meet this guy on his way out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because she did hear the like screaming going on inside.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Petting him.
Some people in there clearly need to find God. So Kate has been stung by an alien up in the bathroom, but the people outside don't know that. All they see is frantic Frank, the boba shop owner. He is running out front as if possessed by a demon, Isabel. You see him scrambling. He actually stumbles down the stairs a little bit as he's coming out, and but it doesn't bother him. He's focused on something else. He's looking up at the fire escape, eyes darting back and forth.
Foaming at the mouth.
Foaming at the not literally, but he's got some drool a little. Maybe he's got ghoul fever. You gotta watch out.
Isabel is going to step in the way and say, "You! Have you been saved?"
He will say, "I'm the only one who will be saved."
That is blasphemy. And that is actually going to be enough for her to prompt her to use her power, because he did just blaspheme right to her face.
Oh yeah, he blasphemed it right up. A little spittle got on your cheek too.
Disgusting.
So, what does Isabel do?
She is going to use Proverbios Fear the Sky, and she is going to clutch her rosary once more, still hanging out the front of her smock. She's going to point at him with righteous justice, and she is going to shout, "Only through him can we be saved, and you will not blaspheme in front of me."
All right, let's see it. Charisma cult. And we get to roll for this guy now.
We'll be exerting again. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You are both overtaken in the gripped by the Holy Spirit and laid low by the majesty of these things that are so much greater than this pathetic encounter on this small little piece of earth.
I want him begging me for forgiveness for blaspheming in front of a sister of the cloth of the church, for worshiping false idols. Maybe I don't know that, but I imagine that he might.
Yeah, you were getting that vibe. You were definitely getting that vibe from his blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is laid low on the ground, much like the other ones. Joe, this is a little concerning. You're not going to lie. Sister Isabel seems fully capable of filling people with with giving them an incredibly potent religious experience at will, and she seems a little caught up in it too, and it's a little uncomfortable, I will say.
And it looks like it's like fear-based too.
Yes, it's
not very peaceful.
These people are crying. They feel tiny and small and unworthy and at the mercy of these greater forces.
What does Isabel see in Joe as this is going on?
Joe just takes a step back and is just going to watch, like a tinge of concern, a little bit of surprise, because I mean, still he's only seen this twice, but like some concern. But he's just gonna pause and take it all in for a second, as he watches the man move to weeping, basically in her arms. This would not be the first time he's seen commanded conversions. It is in fact the third person, count one being himself, that he's come across this sort of situation. But he's assessing for himself how he feels about it. So he really will be taking a little bit, a couple of actions, just taking this in.
Mm-hmm.
Isabel will shuffle on her knees and turn to face him and say, "Do you too fear salvation?" And she's looking him in the eye. And she's got wild eyes on right now.
I walk the paths of righteousness, sister.
This is gonna make her break out in tears because it's so profound for her right now.
And she will, and with that he will give a comforting grip on her shoulder, like a bro hug, and then proceed to try to figure out where the hell Kate is.
Yes, Kate is actually, you guys down on the floor can give me a perception plus alertness roll. Sister Isabel, I'm going to say it's difficulty 8 for you because you are in the middle of a religious experience again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Joe, difficulty 6.
I'm in 2 religious experiences, strictly speaking.
Yeah, it's true.
We're overlapping at this point.
Joe, you got to do the exclamation marks first. Oh my gosh. Sister Isabel is transfixed. Well, look, that's a good result, though, from Joe. Sister Isabel, positively transfixed by this religious experience that she started, but has now gotten fully caught up in. You are probably, saying the Lord's Prayer, praying over your rosary beads. The world outside of your experience right now is non-existent.
I'm reciting verses. I'm saying, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed. We will be saved. Steadfast Lord, love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end."
And Joe, as this is happening, you notice that a couple of the college kids that were currently being served in Bobasaurus are walking out of the store, and some of the friends that are in there seem surprised by this. And as they are exiting the store right in front of you, because you're right there, right in front of the apartment door, you see them turn towards the entryway, and their eyes have been changed. They're no longer normal human eyes. Instead, they have these featureless golden orbs in their head, it appears, as if they have been taken over by an external force. Your detecto magic is still whirring and whining and going crazy. And as you look down at this man, Frank, who owns the Bobasaurus shop, you see in his eyes this golden sheen starting to creep in, although it doesn't seem as powerful as with these other people. And they are making their way right to the front door.
To confirm, that front door is like the easiest exit to this, or the easiest entrance to this apartment.
Yes.
All right.
You guys are like right in front of this door, right under the fire escape, and the entry to the Bobasaurus shop is maybe 15 feet away, and they're coming towards you now.
Joe is going to, hopefully when he sees that change in their eyes, he's going to rush to the front door. Did you want that to be an action or just a free action to get like into that hallway area?
You can go into the hallway, sure.
Awesome. And then he is going to, put up his barrier. He's going to chill out, basically. So, spend an action, exert my mind, roll intellect influence, and meditate to maintain this barrier. Take no actions, make no perception rolls. He's just going to like get over to that door, slump down, and start taking deep breaths.
All right. You can create a barrier. This is from your Surfer Soul necklace, right?
It is. So what it would look like is the necklace that he's wearing is going to get a glowing cowrie shell where it had no pendant before. And when he takes his meditative pose, and I'll roll, and the barrier will get set up around him.
Is there a visible indicator? Or is it more like it ripples with soft light, like sunshine through water?
Yeah. So when touched, when run against, it might be, I'm sure it's perceivable because I don't want to be cheating the system. It's perceivable like lightly, but it's very perceivable when banged up against.
All right.
All right. So we roll for that. He's just going to take some deep meditative breaths.
Yeah.
And so he set up his barrier, just slumped against this door, breathing deep. And it has, let's see how much damage it can take. 2 plus 6, so 8.
Yep.
And you also can't pass through it until it's broken.
Oh yeah, it takes 2 times the next outcome plus 2 damage. So 10, because 3 plus 2 is 5, times 2 is 10. So it can block 10 damage. But in the meantime, these other patrons from Bobasaurus will make their way to the door, and when they hit this meditative bubble that Joe has set up, they start to punch at it and paw at it and claw at it, almost as if mindless zombies. One of them does grab a nearby scrap of wood that was on the ground, and is attacking it and hammering it. Isabel, you see all this, although you're around it. You might still be engrossed in your religious experience that you're having.
I'm pretty engrossed.
Kate, let's go back to Kate.
Okay.
You just got stung by the frog. The stinger is still in you for a moment. What would you like to do in your calf?
Probably try to jerk away to start with.
Sure, yeah, you can jerk away from the thing. It hisses at you. It has golden eyes.
Okay. Does it appear to be in distress? Like, is it suffocating outside of the fluid, or?
No, it does not appear to be suffocating or anything like that. It appears to not want you to be near it.
I mean, that's fair. She doesn't exactly want to be near it either. She's going to be screaming back at it.
Ah!
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And she's going to grab her backpack and empty everything out of it and try and scoop it up.
All right, give me that Dex Athletics or Dex Brawl.
I will take athletics, please.
All right.
You got this, Kate.
You got this.
Kate does not have this.
Kate got this. Oh, gosh. Oh,
Yes, the frog is not very maneuverable, it turns out. It's tries to sting you a couple of times, but you manage to get it into your backpack and get it all zipped up. The stinger pokes out of it at random in a couple of directions.
Kate's just spending the entire time screaming at it.
You scream at this frog. It's in your backpack now. You've got it.
And she is going to go to leave, I guess.
Yeah. So you undo the deadbolts, and now I need everybody to give me a dex or a mind roll at difficulty 6.
got it.
Okay. All right. You have all succeeded except for Sister Isabel, who got a partial success. That's excellent. None of you are enthralled by the alien toad. And Kate, you exit. Joe, you hear the door open up above you as this group of 3 people is attacking your barrier, and I'll make some rolls for them to damage it. Okay.
So he's between them and the door. That was his goal.
Yes.
I think.
So they can't
and
make it into
the door
the
behind is opening.
Yeah, on the second floor above you. I don't know where
Yeah.
are you meditating, like on the stairs, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
So-
It's 'cause as quick as he can get.
Yes. So one of the people is just raving and trying to make it through and is on the ground with Sister Isabel. One of them is punching at your barrier, which is splashing a little bit like water as they try to pound their way through. The one who picked up the stick is actually doing some damage, though. They're ripping and tearing into it, trying to find a thing. And then you hear the door up above open up. And Kate, what do you say?
She is still screaming, and she's like, I have it. It stung me. Now what? She's just screaming down at Joe.
Who is in a meditative pose, taking deep breaths. Let's see. It can take no quick actions, free actions, or minimal movement. Joe says nothing. Because talking is a quick action, isn't it? Or is it free?
It's a free action.
He gets to talk. All right. He will say in a very, very peaceful level tone, don't come down this way. Get out a different way.
Oh my god. She's going to run back to the window and try and unlock the bars on it.
Yes, you can open up the bars to the fire escape from the inside. Meanwhile, the frog inside of your backpack is struggling and its stinger is poking out through the polyester.
Oh my god, we don't have a fucking vehicle.
Yeah, I was wondering when you guys were going to realize that.
I've known.
Yeah, I've known out of character, but Kate has not thought of it.
Well, what would you guys like to do? Kate exits onto the fire escape as this is happening.
At least the frog does not know where it is, I'm hoping, so it can't coordinate everyone to come at me.
Yes, Sister Isabel, you look up and see Kate exiting onto the fire escape above you.
She looks frantic.
She looks frantic. Her backpack is wriggling as if it has a small dog inside.
A very angry, very stingy dog.
Yes.
Okay. Isabel can tell that it's time to get going when the going is good because she rolled self-control and got a hold of herself here. And she is going to run up to the door and swing it open and look down at Joe and say, "We must move. The time is auspicious. It's time to leave. God wills it."
Kate is going to try and call an Uber, I guess.
Yeah.
All
She's going
right.
to told Joe to come up into this room with her.
I mean, what?
You got this, Kate. Yeah. What do you think?
God.
Uber XL, Uber Select?
Yeah, you know what? Let's get the big SUV.
Okay, you get the Uber XL. It's going to cost $10 more.
I think she can swing that.
Okay. Well, you get the Uber XL. It's going to be there in 3 minutes.
Okay. She is going to make her way down the fire escape, which is fortunately already opened.
Yes, you lower the fire escape, and as you do so, deranged, mind-controlled people will notice you as if
She already has. The fire escape's already down.
Oh, yes.
So it doesn't make any sound.
Yes, but they will notice that the thing is now... They seem to have a supernatural sense of where the frog is.
Less than ideal.
As if drawn to its very presence, their heads turn in unison away from Joe and his barrier towards you as you're exiting onto the fire escape. Their friends cry out from the door to Bobasaurus, "What are you doing, Tim? Why are you guys acting so weird?"
Are they going to go to head up the fire escape?
Yeah, one of them's
Kate
got
is turning right the fuck around. She's going back inside and she is closing those windows.
Yeah, they get up to on the fire escape and are rattling the cages, the bar. You see from across the street, somebody is exiting one of the buildings that's across the street. It's not even in Bobasaurus, and they too have golden eyes, and they're running straight across the street. Cars swerve out of the way and honk, and one of the cars gets into a fender bender with a parked car as this person runs across the street to join this horde that is forming, trying to get at the people stealing the frog.
Are they going up that fire escape? Because it doesn't
yeah.
sound like... Okay, great. No, I don't know. Okay, so there's not a crowd.
Get in the room.
There's not a crowd calling
Isabel
at
has
Joe's.
just yelled at you and to come, and she'll slam that door behind you. Got those deadbolts in place.
All right, so you guys are going in through the normal entryway. Kate will let you in.
Yeah, Kate will let you in, assuming
Okay.
she hears her voice.
Wait, does that mean you went past Joe? Because isn't he blocking that?
No, she went in through the fire escape.
Okay, got it.
And closed it behind her, and while all the people were up on the fire escape, which is creaking and groaning with the weight, you guys ran in through the inside and locked the door behind you. You are all in the apartment.
All of us?
Yes, you're all in the
Joe
apartment.
dropped his concentration?
Yeah.
He would have if the whole mass of them left that area and went somewhere else.
Yeah, they were all well. They were all climbing up the fire escape.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do that again?
Why don't we just go on the surfboard, man? And he points to Sammy.
She's just going to stare at him and then at the surfboard and say, "This day could not get any weirder. Okay, sure, let's go."
So the surfboard, Joe, as you know, is pretty much strong enough to carry one person. That's what it was designed for.
Joe knows. Joe will take off the necklace, put it around Kate's neck, and say, "Tell Sammy where you want to go, man. And Sammy's gonna do it, but give this back, okay? She's a part of my soul."
Okay, are you guys going to be okay? I mean, I guess they're chasing the backpack.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Kate. And he'll rush. He'll carry Sammy because he's assuming this is a burden for Kate, who's also holding a backpack. And they'll go down that regular entrance way because everything's trying to crawl. Is there a window we can bust?
We're going to go up because we can get to the ceiling from here, I think.
There are other windows that do not have access via the fire escape that you guys can bust through.
Joe's gonna bust a window. Do you want me to roll for that?
No, it's a window. You can easily throw a lamp through it or whatever.
Throw a lamp through the window and situate Kate probably laying down because that'd be the most comfortable way with the bag with the pokey thing in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tell Sammy where you want to go. Go on.
The tower. She is going to spend a long moment remembering what the name of that tower is.
Coit Tower.
She has a quite tower. Fortunately, she has a better memory than me.
Yep. Yes, you tell Sammy Coit Tower, and it zooms
Up
off.
and high up.
Yes, it goes up and up as you ask it. It flies up and up and up and into the clouds. It's cold and windy. They're literally holding on to this surfboard for dear life, Kate, as you fly off, the backpack dangling beneath you, spine punching through it at random and wriggling. And Joe and Sister Isabel watch Kate fly off on Sammy the surfboard. Kate, this necklace that Joe gave you thrums with supernatural energy and gives you the power to control this surfboard.
You somehow taste the salty sea air as you're going. Even somehow, you're an SF. You totally taste the salty sea air.
Oh yeah, you taste it as a seagull flies alongside of you and squawks.
The board kind of sways as though you're on the smooth ocean waves.
Okay. This makes her a little panicked, and this holds the board tighter.
Joe and Sister Isabel, the horde you see is running after the surfboard as if they can make it there. And you actually hear gunshots as someone in one of the apartments across the street fires onto the surfboard as it flies up into the air.
It is made of... It's not a wooden one. It's one of those like fiberglass poly whatevers. Okay. So I'm hoping that can stop a bullet, but we'll see.
No, it's actually very fragile. But let's see. It's going to be difficult because it's all up in the air.
Yeah.
And a small target.
I got to get myself a bulletproof Sammy.
Yes. Kate, you get hit with a bullet. It goes straight through the surfboard and deals 3 damage to you.
Does it hit her in the chest?
Yes, your bulletproof vest that you happen to stop and grab will help you. That's
okay.
3 armor, right? So it stops the bullet.
Oh, good stuff.
I was actually thinking it was like one of the under vest ones, which makes it 2, I think.
Oh, okay, sure. So you get a more concealed normal one.
Yeah.
Yes. So the bullet, mostly misdirected by your reinforced clothing, breaks a rib from the force of the impact.
Yep.
And you see this crowd on the ground beneath you raving. That's the theme of the day, is being overtaken by the current vibe. And this crowd is most certainly overtaken by the current vibe as they chase after the flying surfboard through the streets of San Francisco. And as you go, I mean, you're going up and up and into the clouds. But before you do, you see people running out of their houses here and there. There's even vehicles, cars chasing after you. A police car.
Accidents. Good gravy.
Yes, there's a police car with its sirens on. The cops inside have these golden eyes. Joe and Sister Isabel, you were left behind as if discarded and unimportant.
Okay. Isabel is going to go over and ask Joe for a hug. She's not feeling herself right now.
Yeah, man. And he's gonna give her a really good hug, like he loves her.
Aw. Wait, sweet pie. Isabel's gonna feel a little bit better. Do we see these people chasing after her still?
Oh yeah, they're gone. They're a huge mob that is chasing after a flying surfboard, which you guys can't even see anymore because it's gone so high up. But apparently they have some sense of where it is. And your Uber arrives.
Okay.
Joe is going to take a couple of those. Joe is going to unplug the bathtub while they're waiting for that Uber and run all that stuff in that tub down the drain except for 2, and take 2 in a waterproof plastic bag.
All right. You take some alien boba. Then, are you guys going to get in the Uber or what?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
say, Kate? Are you Kate?
We're friends at Kate. We're friends at Kate, man.
Kate went ahead. We just need an Uber.
Okay, as long as it's all on the up and up. You guys look, a little bit rattled, and Joe is beautiful. And they sort of take pity on you. And yeah, they'll. I assume, where was the Uber to, Kate? You called it. You say where it
It was
is.
the coit.
To Coit. Yep. So they're following after you guys after this weird mob. Kate, you arrive at Coit Tower, flying
Okay.
down on the surfboard. Where would you like to direct the surfboard?
Same place that Joe landed to begin with.
Great. Onto the top of Coit Tower. Yes, you see Sophia there, and Ralph Turlock is no longer there, but she's there, and she has a metal case that seems to be custom built and very rudimentary, with sort of thick walls. And she says, "Oh, okay. So put it in here."
She's gonna put the entire backpack in there.
Yeah, and then she closes it up. And she says, "All right, you're good to go. Oh, do you have the Detecto Magic?"
Oh my god, it probably would have been in the back.
Man.
Yeah,
I mean, unless she attacked. No, it'd be in the backpack.
Yes, so it's on the
Can we-
ground. Joe
Can
and
we roll to see if we saw that? Because Joe was
It
emptying
would
out
be in the
bathtub.
bathroom where she dumped it, where
yes,
Joe was.
Joe would have noticed it on the ground.
But Kate thinks she's screwed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Nobody
Kate's
swapped
just going to
numbers.
sit down and be like, fuck.
Well, Sophia sits on the ground next to Kate and pats her on the shoulder and says, "Don't worry, maybe your friends will get it."
Maybe. I don't even have their phone number. Just go lie back on the floor.
Well, Joe.
Oh, do you have a med kit?
Yeah. I stay prepared. And she'll help bandage up your chest.
And calf. She's actually
your
slightly
calf.
more concerned about
Your
the calf.
As you look down at your calf, you see it starting to, it's bleeding. There's a little pool of blood in your shoe. And as you lift up your pant leg, the wound actually bubbles up, and some little bits of boba, as if formed from your own flesh, spill out onto the marble
Kate's just going to
floor.
scream again.
Is that atrocities?
Yeah, where are your guys' limits? I should have paid more attention.
Murder.
Anguish,
and
atrocities.
love.
Near-death experience. I'm gonna
Yep.
have roll for a near-death experience, please, Kate.
Okay.
You did fly on a magical surfboard with a alien with a bunch of people chasing after you
All being shot at.
while being shot at.
Can I exert for this?
No, you can't exert for trauma rolls.
Okay.
Kate has had a day.
Yeah, that's true.
First contract, and she's been through the ringer. I can relate.
Oof.
All right. Well, I will come up with a new trauma for you. I'm gonna say fear of heights. Basic.
Okay.
Phobia of heights. So you'll be able to get therapy for that if you open up to a counselor and spend experience during your downtime. You'll have to tell them all about your adventure on the flying surfboard. Joe and Isabel, when you arrive at Coit Tower, it's surprisingly not packed. There seems to be a bit of a traffic jam at the base of it, where a car that was going up the hill got hit with a spike strip and is stalled out in that road. Nobody has
Yeah.
glowing golden eyes. Everyone seems bewildered and confused as to why they're there.
Okay, so yeah, these people are unconverted. I'm assuming from, that thing being put in a metal box, blocking
Which you
its
don't know
delta
about.
radiation.
Yes, your detecto magics have quieted down.
Oh, good.
Beautiful.
All three of them.
Yep.
All three of them.
Um,
I guess we are just going to thank the Uber driver very much. Isabel will give a short spiel about making sure to show up to church on Sunday.
Joe will
Um,
add to pursue the paths of peace and righteousness.
mm, and I think we will walk up to the tower on foot at this point.
All right. You guys make it up to the top. You are able to meet up with Kate, who is whimpering on the ground. You see her wound bleeding Boba onto a little puddle on the ground, which, by the way, it increases in severity by 1, Kate.
Okay.
But with pressure, the bleeding is able to be stopped. Do you guys turn in all the detecto magics?
Oh, he so does. And he's gonna point to the nasty boba things that came out of Kate, which I'm assuming are on the ground, and ask the secretary essentially, like, you want those? Like,
Oh, no, I think we'll be able to make more. She pats the case.
fair enough. And he's going to check out Kate. Was she properly bandaged up? Like, what was that roll done and stuff?
Yeah, she was bandaged up. No need for a roll. It wasn't a terribly severe injury. Although you don't know what to do about the boba that's apparently spilling out from inside of her.
She has health care.
Yeah, go to the hospital. It's San Francisco. There's really good healthcare here.
Joe was gonna ask for the necklace back. Kate, he's like gonna point to it.
Yeah, she will take a little bit to realize that someone else is here. She will hand it over and she will ask if he had her detecto magic.
Yeah. And he's gonna pull it out of his overstuffed backpack. His like massive backpack.
Going to flop backwards and say thank you so much.
It's all good, man. And then, having learned all of this and finally having a brief moment, Joe's gonna ask the secretary lady, "Is there a bathroom around here?"
Yeah, there's some on the ground floor. Feel free.
Is there a trash can nearby? I'm asking GM.
Yes, there is a trash can.
Joe's going to attempt to hurl up that nasty ass boba.
Yeah. Actually,
Because he's got 4 intellect, and he's like, I don't want to keep that in me.
Kate, as you are feeling the thrum of the sting on your leg, and you watching Joe hurling into this trash can, you feel almost connected with him and with Isabel, as if you don't need to see where they are to know where they are, just on this subconscious level. And as soon as it's there, it's gone. But you noticed it, some sort of connection between you and Isabel and Joe at the moment.
Okay.
Isabel and Joe, you did not notice this.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, you're going to go to a hospital and get your weird wound treated, aren't you, Kate?
I think so, yes.
Excellent. Well, that was Bobasaurus, you guys. You have claimed victory. Congratulations.
Yay.
Congratulations. Good job, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for running.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you for running.
Thank you all for watching. I should note that it's pretty rare that a contract goes as smoothly as this one. I did make 1 or 2 mistakes GMing. Mostly, Isabel didn't get a complete success on her Boba mind resistance roll, and I could have taken an action using her contractor to try and thwart the group. I forgot. And I probably should have entered initiative towards the end when things were getting violent. But hey, nobody's perfect. You can read the full write-up for Bobasaurus online at www.thecontractrpg.com. as well as all of the GM notes and in-character journals anyone has ever written for the 10 times that it's been run. Bobasaurus is one of over 250 community-written scenarios you can find on our website. I hope this actual play showed what the contract is all about and explained why over 1,000 players have run over 950 contracts. The game is free to play and available to all at www.thecontractrpg.com. Thanks for watching.